Welcome to an extra special bad meeting, hosted by Gail Sapiro, presenting our exciting guest, Doug James.
We all know Doug James is a bright light in the doll world, but did you know that he's a two-time Emmy Award winner for his work in television? Doug is the owner and creator of the C.E.D and S-Series lines of 19-inch fashion dolls and the 16-inch Summer and Fields line that includes Willow Daisy and Violett Gabby. Most recently, Doug introduced the 1470 line, featuring Kate, Gaye, Mary, and Sioux. Doug has produced award-winning designs for Jean for Ashton-Drake and designed for the Madame Alexander, Knickerbocker, Horsman, and Integrity doll companies. At this point, Doug has created over a dozen fashion doll characters in well over 60 different editions in 4 different fashion doll lines, accompanied by a vast assortment of costumes and accessories, plus a variety of fashion doll one-of-a-kinds. But not everyone knows Doug's work beyond the doll world. After he graduated from college with a degree in theater arts, Doug moved to Manhattan and worked at Juilliard in the costume department, as well as for the Brooks Van Horn Costume Company. He spent 2 seasons as artistic director for the Shady Lane Playhouse, a professional theater company outside of Chicago. Back in New York, Doug created millinery for the Broadway stage for such plays as Phantom of the Opera, Will Rogers' Follies, Guys and Dolls, 9, Candida, Streetcar Named Desire, St. Joan, Beauty and the Beast, and recently for Aladdin. For several years, Doug worked with John Noble at the Museum of the City of New York, restoring antique French fashion doll clothing. He made 4 one-of-a-kind dolls that were exhibited there. Doug's work on film as a costumer and milliner. Among his movies are Mona Lisa Smile, Wyatt Earp, Wolf, Guarding Tess, Sabrina, The Good Shepherd, and The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. He has also been the exclusive milliner for a series of Muppet movies, A Muppet Christmas Carol, Muppet Treasure Island, Muppets from Space, The Muppets, and Muppets Most Wanted. Doug is an assistant wardrobe director on Saturday Night Live and regularly works on PBS's Sesame Street, plus The Late Show with Seth Meyers and The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. We're so lucky to have him with us today. Help me welcome Doug James.
Little introduction, but Gail did it really well, so I don't think I have to. I can go right. I do that. I can go right into talking about things. I thought I would start with. Let me see. I'm getting to my picture files here, and let me do that. And I think I can do that so that we can see. I thought I would start with a very short thing about my latest project, the 1470 dolls. I thought I'd do that really quickly. That's the latest thing. And then I'll go into, we had talked about doing, I'm just going to go talk about, do a presentation about Willow and Daisy. That seemed to be something that everybody was sort of like, we want to hear about that. So let me start with the 1470 dolls here.
We want to hear about everything.
There we go. So quickly, the background of the 1470 dolls is that I found them. I thought they were wonderful. I realized they're very rare. Real ones are very, very rare. In order to get one, I think it was almost $2,000 that I finally was able to get one. And I thought, well, these are so charming and they're so expensive and so hard to get that I thought it's not fair that collectors, shouldn't have a better shot at being able to own one of these. So I decided I would see if I could produce them. So I finally found an antique doll after paying a very large amount of money for her. And I found a 3D printing place. I took the doll all apart very, very, very carefully, packed her very, very carefully, and I had her 3D scanned. And then we made, and I did a lot of research to make sure that the doll would end up being exactly the same size and scale as the original doll. So this doll is 14 inches, just like the original dolls are. This is our Gaye doll, and the 5 different dolls are basically the same doll in terms of the bodies are entirely porcelain, the heads are porcelain. The original dolls had composition bodies. We found that in terms of being able to make the color and the texture and everything match, and factories just, the factory I found that was able to do this just did not want to do composition. They said, we just don't do that anymore. It's way too labor intensive. And they suggested doing the whole doll in porcelain. And it's not a very large doll, and smaller dolls were often done entirely in porcelain. So we decided that was the best thing to do. It's the same doll, but the Gaye doll has gray eyes. The Sioux doll has dark brown eyes. The Mary doll has deep blue eyes. The Kate doll has lighter blue eyes, and the Polly doll has a lighter brown eye. And that's the difference between the dolls. The wigs are all removable and interchangeable. Gaye happens to come with a red wig. The original Kate comes as a blonde. The original Sioux comes with black hair. The original Polly comes as a brunette, and the original Mary comes as an ash blonde. This is the Gaye doll wearing and we've done lots and lots of separate clothes, mostly so far, all in the 20s era, which is sort of, a lot of people know the 1469 dolls and relate it to the teens era, but the 1469 dolls were also very popular through the 20s. And we just decided to really focus on the 20s. This is a separate dress that we did for her that I think is available now through the 1470 dolls, and all her wigs and shoes and clothes and everything. And there's also a dress form, are available through Ed Ferry at Happily Ever After. But this is a wrap dress called Red Bird. It's another picture of the wrap dress. I won't linger on these too much. The wrap dress closures have a faux Bakelite ring with silk thread embroidery and beading there. This was a limited edition of, I think, 25 pieces. Another picture of the wrap dress. This is a wrap coat that we have done, and a close-up of the embroidery and the vintage button on it. The facing and the lining is all silk. It's another version of the coat with a slightly different collar and cuff fabric. And another version of this coat with a raw silk collar and cuff fabric that is interwoven with gold lurex threads. And yet another version of this coat, something that's kind of interesting, the collar and cuffs of this coat are made from leftover fabric from hats I did for the Broadway musical Something Rotten. I happened to have a nice chunk of each of those fabrics, and I thought they were great fabrics and perfect for this. So that we made several of these coats using that fabric. This is another separate outfit we did. Again, it's on the Gaye doll. This is called Seaside Cotton Outfit, and it is a sleeveless dress, a lined matching jacket, and a matching hat. A close-up of the hat for the Seaside Cotton Outfit. And this is another shot of the Seaside Cotton Outfit, and another shot of Seaside Cotton. And this is another outfit. This is called Somber Green. And again, it's a dress, a jacket, and a matching hat. And another shot of the Somber Green outfit. Again, it's on Gaye. I think Gaye just happened to be front in line for getting dressed up that day. And close-up of her hat. The buttons that decorate this outfit's hat are antique glass buttons. Another shot of this outfit. And this is a little teddy that is available for the 1470 dolls. You can't see, there are two little buttons here at the top, and it's a little bit of a stretch fabric, so it goes on pretty easily. This is our Mary doll in the Silver Siren outfit. This doll comes dressed in this outfit. The dress is silver metallic, and all the embroidery you see at the neck and at the hip is done by hand. And there's a little bit of hand beading here at the neck as well. And she was done in an edition of only 30 pieces. And I think we still have some of her. Again, you can see the embroidery at the hip. And another shot of Mary and Silver Siren. This is the lace slip that is under the Silver Siren dress, because the Silver Siren dress is just a little bit transparent because it's silver mesh. And you can just see the lace panties that come with each doll underneath that. She also has custom done silver shoes. Another shot of the lace slip. Oh, these are a pair of black shoe, they're brogue style shoes that we did for the 1470 dolls. They were done as extra available shoes. We have several, lots of different shoes available. This is another outfit. It's called Cairo cotton. And again, it's a cotton dress, the matching jacket and the hat, the cloche hat. Another shot of the Cairo cotton outfit. This is on our Sioux doll. And you can see she has deep brown eyes and black hair. This is more of a detail of the Cairo cotton hat. All that embroidery is done by hand on the hat. Shot of the dress without the jacket. She's actually in front of a C.E.D screen. Another shot of the Cairo cotton outfit. And this is a separate outfit that we did. Again, it's just a dress. We call it the emblem dress. And we did it in 3 different colors. This dress is done in plum, and with the embroidery, as you can see, in steel blue and dark navy and cream. And we did a limited number of these. And the emblems on these dresses, the embroidery is all done by hand. I believe the dresses were an edition of 25 each. This is our Sioux doll, and this is called Wrapped in Red. And this is a dress doll. She comes in this outfit, and this is a close-up of her hat. There are antique textured paillettes here, and actually antique ribbon are a part of the decoration for her felt, all wool felt cloche hat. And here's a close-up of the back of her cloche hat. And she comes with a lamb's wool, lamb fur synthetic muff. A detail of the buckle closure at the side of her wrap dress, which is a very, very, very fine jersey. And this is another dress doll. This is the Gaye doll wearing the Sunday best outfit. It's a very fine cotton in sort of a lilac-y blue with a corsage at the neck. This is a detail of her hat. And all the embroidery you see on the dress is done by hand again. All of this is hand embroidered on the underdress, on the dress here, and on the sleeves. Here is the emblem dress in blue, and you can see the emblem is here, but the colors are sort of olive green and dark blue and cream. This is a gold brocade dress. We might have more of these. We just recently, the factory that was making them was able to make a few more. And they all have antique buttons for closures. They're gold brocade and a very fine olive green velveteen as the collar and the cuffs. There is olive green stitching down the front here that you can just see. This is the lining of the gold brocade coat. Another shot of, this is our Sioux doll. wearing the gold brocade coat. And this is the 1470 dress form. We had it scanned and made so it's exactly the body of the doll, just a smidge bigger. So if you want to make clothes on it, then the clothes fitting tightly on the dress form will fit comfortably on the doll. This is a separate outfit that we have. It's called Tennis Time, and the outfit comes with this dress with cream colored cotton dress with a pleated skirt, and it comes with the tennis racket, vintage tennis racket. And that dress also comes, it also has a matching cape and a hat, which those pictures might be in here somewhere. This is another outfit called Captain's Daughter that we did. It's for the 1470 dolls, but we realized this outfit fits the Elowin Wild doll really well. So we kind of thought, oh, let's let people see that this fits Elowin really well. It comes with the dress, the hat, and there's a little red and white striped under thing. This is Elowin wearing the Captain's Daughter outfit. All this piping, tiny soutache is applied by machine, and the little buttons down the front have working buttonholes. It's a back view of the Captain's Daughter dress. And what I think is interesting, it looks so cute on the Elowin doll, but then, and here's the outfit, the 3 pieces. Then here it is on a 1470 doll. And it looks completely different, but equally cute. So I'm always just amazed when it works out that an outfit for one doll actually works and looks good on another one. Somehow I think it's magic. There's another picture of the Captain's Daughter outfit on the 1470 doll. And another shot of Captain's Daughter on 1470. And a back shot. And another shot of Captain's Daughter on 1470. And this is an outfit called Dark Navy. And again, it's a dress, a coat, and a matching hat. The hat and the coat are actually a very, very, very dark midnight blue. And the dress is sort of a camel and with a very fine black floral print on it. Here's a close-up of the hat. I burned the picture out a little bit so you could see a little more detail. These really dark colors, especially on something like felt, make it very hard to see the detail. This is the dress with the coat. It's a little more of a late 20s look. We're getting almost into the 30s here, but we kind of wanted to experience all the years of the 20s because there was quite a subtle change from the beginning of the 20s to the end of the 20s. Here's a detail of the bows that are appliqued on the cuffs of the Dark Navy outfit and the ruffles that go around around the back of the coat. And a detail of the rosette closure with the beading at the front. And this is a very fine silver chain necklace that is sold separately for the 1470 dolls. Another detail of the details of the Dark Navy outfit. And here's the chain, the way it comes from Happily Ever After. And there's a second chain. It's a little shorter, it has a magnetic closure, and it's a little different. It has these silver beads on it. That's also something that's kind of new and available on the website. This was how we call it, the gray and lilac striped dress. You can see the skirt is the little tiny applied flowers, and the top is all silk. This is on our Polly doll. She's wearing the Sioux black Mary Jane shoes. And you can see here, there is like a lace applique and embroidery across the front of the bodice right there. There's a little better shot of that dress. Another shot of that dress. This is called the Harlequin dress. It's dark gunmetal gray and a silvery pink textured, very, very fine textured fabric. And each of these are lined with silk. Each section of the dress is lined with silk. And you can see the belt has a rhinestone buckle and this gunmetal beading here. And this again, here's a shot. You can see the lining of the dress here and a better shot of the beading and the buckle of the dress. This is again a separate dress. And this was relatively new. This is another wrap dress. We call it just the Melanin Sage wrap dress. And it has some of the same details. The faux Bakelite ring with the beading. And these are fully lined and close at the hip. And I think we've only done about an edition of 20 pieces of each of the outfits. We're trying not to like overwhelm with numbers so that these stay kind of collectible. Another shot of this is this is the Sioux doll wearing a Kate wig because of the brown eyes, and another shot of the Melanin Sage dress. Another shot of this dress. A detail of the front of the dress there. Another shot of the Melanin Sage dress. This is the navy and plum plaid school dress. We only made a few of these, and these are relatively new. This is actually this 1470 collection here is my latest one. Every like month or so, we do a 1470 Zoom presentation. And so I always update this little thing because so many people have seen some of the old things. So these are all the newest things that we have. And you can find out about our next 1470 Zoom through the Facebook website, which is 1470 Dolls by Doug James on Facebook. And you just go to the website. I think Ed Ferry manages that. And if you're ever interested in checking on those Zoom meetings, you can find out about them there. Another picture of the plum and navy school dress. Another picture of that. Oh, we also sell the black stockings and kind of a pair of pale pink melon stockings and separate shoes. Another, the navy plaid dress. Another picture of the navy plaid dress. And I think that's all for 1470. And without wasting too much time, I'm going to go right into.
Well, Doug, I'm going to interrupt you a moment and see if
yes.
Anybody has questions.
Sure.
The line. I have one.
Yes.
And how is it that how did you develop the ideas for the fashions that were going to be for the 1470 line?
Well, I really researched all the 1469 dolls, any pictures of them I could find, anything. Let's see, I have to start my video. Yes. I've done this enough times, you'd think I'd know how this works. There we go. When I first was interested in doing this, and I had this, what I thought was a brilliant idea. Of course, there was that little voice in the back of my head saying, "You're an idiot. No one's going to want this." I thought, oh, shut up. I'm doing it anyway. And because I liked it. And my whole thing has always been in the doll world. And if I really am passionate about it, and if I really like it, then I just feel confident there's going to be at least 3 other people out there that will too. And I've always felt that it's much better to work with that attitude than to just try and do something I'm not incredibly excited about because I think it'll be popular, or because I think that's what everyone else is doing, or that kind of thing. There was sometimes a little pressure to do that when I started working on the Jean project. But the good thing was they were from the beginning in the Jean Project, there were three of us, and we each had our own strengths. And I felt like the thing I was most interested in and my strength with Jean was doing a lot of the, not so much the formal frilly things, but the tailored things I really liked. I did, Goodbye New York. I did Afternoon Off. I did Hi-Fi. I did a lot of the more casual things that kind of other people didn't want to do. I did the cowgirl shooting star thing. I remember they wanted a cowgirl. They didn't kind of know what kind of cowgirl, they just wanted a cowgirl. And they put it out there and none of the designers wanted to do it. And I said, I think that sounds interesting. I'll do it. And I made it very tailored. So anyway, I was researching the 1469 dolls. I saw a lot of them were dressed in teens, but I started seeing a lot of them several of them dressed in the 20s. And I thought 20s is not only really popular, I find it really fun, a really fun period. And I also found it kind of an underdone period, not only just in general, but especially in the doll world. I mean, there's one or two Barbies in 1920s out dresses, and Tonner did one of his dolls had a short line in the 20s, and they did some beautiful, but just a few 20s things. And I thought, let's just focus on the 20s for this. I'm actually going to be going back shortly, and I've done a couple dresses for the 1470 dolls that are 1915, a little bit earlier. It's another really interesting little micro period with a beautiful and interesting silhouette. So we're going to do a little bit of that, but I just found the 20s really interesting, and the idea of giving them an entire wardrobe of 20s was just really interesting to me.
Which came first for you in terms of the fabrics that you used for the 1470 line? Did you have an idea for colors and then you went looking for fabrics, or you saw fabrics that you liked and then just went forward?
Oh, interesting. I think most of the time because my basis is costuming for people. So I learned in college and everything, research. So I do lots and lots and lots of research, and every one of my, well, most of my doll things have come somehow, some aspect of it has been inspired by researching a real garment, a real photograph or a real fashion illustration from the period. And I try to not just make up something that doesn't really relate to the period without researching it and making sure that this is something that someone would have worn, and the scale and the shape and the hemline and the details and those kinds of things are really accurate. Because as much as one of the things we enjoyed doing for Jean was making movie costumes, and when you do that, you can then kind of do anything you want, because the concept is that a designer for movies in the 1930s and 40s, and even in the early 50s, were not that concentrated on being historically accurate. So if we were doing a historical costume for Jean, we also didn't feel like we had to be historically accurate, since it was not a costume, it was one of Jean's movie costumes. But other than that, I feel like it should be. I wanted people to almost be confused when they see the 1470 clothes, that they might be seeing something that was made in the mid-late 20s. But then you open the clothes and they all have our 1470 doll label in them. And also the dolls, just to make sure that no one ever tries to pass one off as a genuine 1469 doll. The dolls are incised 1470 JDJ James on the backs of their heads. So just to make sure that that no one mistakenly sells one as an antique, 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was that. Did that answer your
Yeah,
question?
I did. Does anybody else have a question at this time?
I do.
Go for it.
Yes, shoot.
Can you hear me? I'm Terrence Oldham. Doug, it's great to meet you. And
Hi.
I really enjoyed the presentation. The dolls are incredible. And the clothing.
Oh, thank you.
Where are they manufactured?
They're manufactured in China. And but the dolls themselves were manufactured in China. I wanted them to be porcelain because the original dolls had porcelain heads, and the original dolls had porcelain heads and composition bodies. And I originally wanted to try to make that as make them as identical to the antiques as possible. But the factory, I couldn't find any factory that would even begin to make a comparable composition body. I don't know if, I'm sure if you have all experienced buying reproduction dolls with like old Sealy bodies and things like that. They started making them out of a latex kind of blend, because the original composition, which was sawdust and glue and whatever things they could, find to sweep up and push together with glue and push into a mold to create that composition. It's called composition because the material making it is composed of almost anything they could find. Mostly it was sawdust and glue, and very labor intensive way to do it, because they had to be hollow. So each piece had to have a front and a back. The glue, the composition pushed into them, allowed days to dry, then taken out, trimmed, glued together, and then several coats of paint, and then usually coats of lacquer over that. And a composition that's in good shape today is great, and you still can find antique dolls with good composition, but also you can find lots of dolls where the composition has failed and the paint is cracked and fallen off, and the sawdust is cracking and disintegrating. And when the factory said, let's just do them entirely in porcelain, the color will match perfectly, the texture of the head to the body will match perfectly. Our porcelain these days is really, really strong. We just said, yes, let's do that. And this was the only factory I could find that is still doing porcelain. I don't know if you remember, several years ago, like Marie Osmond did dolls. Matter of fact, Marie Osmond's dolls were made at the same factory that our C.E.D. dolls and the original Violett and Gabby dolls were made at. So when I would go to the factory, I would see Marie Osmond's dolls being made. And most of them were porcelain, with porcelain heads, arms, and legs. And there was a lot of porcelain made like 20 years ago. Now, almost nobody does it. It's for those kinds of dolls, people don't like porcelain. And the factory even tried to talk me into the possibility of doing the 1470 dolls in vinyl. And I thought, well, for a number of reasons, I didn't want to do that. Number one, the original dolls had porcelain heads. So doing another porcelain head just made sense to me. Second of all, there isn't any universal material for dolls that is the one perfect material. Each one has its benefits, and each one has its drawbacks. Vinyl is great, but we know vinyl can stain really badly. Vinyl can distort in the heat. Depending on what kind of vinyl you're using, if you're using rotationally molded vinyl, as they pull those parts out of the rotational molds, they can distort. That's why you sometimes get vinyl dolls with one arm longer than the other or one leg longer than the other. It's kind of unavoidable. So those are, and vinyl also eventually can discolor, it can stain. There are good things about it. You can drop it, it's durable, it's very playable, it feels good. Resin has its problems. Resin is very expensive to produce. It's very difficult. It's very brittle. You can break resin pretty easily. It's very difficult to color. So that's why resin dolls are so expensive. So the only drawback to porcelain I could see was that if you drop it, if you really hit it with something, it can break. Our porcelain is pretty thick and it's really sturdy. It could eventually break, but if it's cared for well, it will last for the next 200 years and it won't discolor and it won't change, it won't stain. It won't, the makeup won't change or come off, just as antique dolls whose heads look the same as they did 150, 200 years ago, the 1470 dolls in another 200 years should look exactly the same. And they're very easy to restring. So at a certain point, if the elastic kind of starts dying, I restring these dolls all the time. It takes me literally 5 minutes. So all of that made me think the porcelain is absolutely the way to go. But I found one factory that was willing to do it out of all the doll factories, and I had contacts with a lot of them. We have the clothes made at 4 different places. There are 2 places in China, a place in Indonesia, and a place in Michigan. So we tried to have as much stuff done here as we could in this country, but it's very difficult because people just aren't doing it. But we're out there trying to spread the work out as much as we can. Did that answer the question more than you ever wanted to know?
Yeah. I'm just wondering if the shoes are those, I would assume it's a faux leather that the shoes are.
Yes. Yes, it's a faux leather shoe, for so many reasons. I have to say, when we first did the C.E.D dolls, there were several C.E.D dolls whose high-heeled pumps were real kid leather. The Flower Show Claire doll had fuchsia-colored pumps that were real leather. They're so beautiful. And the African art outfit had sort of a camel tan pump that was real leather. There were a couple other ones. They were very, very difficult because they had to work with little leather scraps in order to make it affordable. We couldn't buy the finest quality, and the leather had to be very, very fine. And so they relied on making it from scraps, but that starts to be make the labor more difficult. So I wanted to keep the prices as affordable on the excuse me, on these as we could. So all the shoes are a really nice quality leatherette.
And I have one more question. Who is the Ash? There was an Ash blonde bob hairstyle modeling one of the outfits. Is that one of the characters or one of the dolls that you're offering?
Yes, yes. Depending on the ash blonde dolls were the Mary dolls. So all the Mary dolls have blue eyes and that ashy blonde hair, and we have that silver embroidered dress. We have those, and there were only 30 of those, and that's the Mary Silver Siren doll, and she comes in that dress. You saw also that ash blonde wig on a doll modeling the olive and melon colored floral print wrap dress. That's just the wrap dress that wrap dress is sold separately.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions at this time? You can unmute yourself if you do.
But,
I do.
And we also, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, hi, Doug. That was really interesting. Thank you. I love all of your dolls. So, and I do like this latest range. I've actually got 3 questions. The first one is about the 3D scanning, and I wondered how alarming it was to send your original doll off. And the reason I ask that is because I know that when Julian Kalinowski was reproducing Caprice and turning it into his 12-inch Severine doll, he sent an original Caprice off for scanning. As you know, they're really expensive as well. And it came back and the whole thing had been marked with indelible marker pen as points of reference for the scanning. So it was completely destroyed. I think he keeps it as a kind of keepsake, you know, but and it kind of looks interesting, but it's certainly not the doll that it was originally. So I just wondered how risky that process is.
Oh, it's risky. I contacted a 3D scanning place that I did lots and lots of research because there are a lot of them, but there aren't many. Most of probably the first 20 that I found and talked to, as soon as I said I have an antique doll parts that I want scanned, they were more like, oh, no, we do machine parts for the auto industry. You know, if you have a gear, we'll scan that for you. If you have like, you know, something or other. But, you know, as soon as I said antique doll parts, you know, their heads exploded. And I finally found a place in Brooklyn that specializes in art pieces, in scanning like sculptors' pieces, in scanning unusual things. And it was the kind of the perfect fit. So once I carefully took the doll apart and I took thousands of pictures of, this is where this hook goes, and this is where this hook goes, and this piece of elastic went through here like this, and this one went through here like this. I thought also to send to the factory for future stringing information, but I was able to take the doll apart into all its pieces, and I wrapped each one in like so much tissue paper and bubble wrap, each separate piece. And when I talked to the 3D scanning place a lot, and made it very clear to them that this was a 100-year-old doll, and that it was a very expensive doll, and that, you know, that they really couldn't mark on it. They couldn't, you know, they couldn't do anything to, I wanted to make sure that they understood that, number one, that they were able to do what they needed to do without marking it, damaging it, cutting into it, you know, doing any of those things, and that they knew just not to. And they assured me that they understood, and that that they could do everything they needed to do without damaging or harming the pieces in any way. And so I sent it all off to them in a big box, each piece numbered and marked, you know, lower left leg, lower right leg, each thing. And they carefully scanned each piece. And then we had to, you know, in order to make, it's a little bit of guesswork, in order to make sure that the final dolls were exactly the same size as the antique dolls. There is a large percentage of shrinkage when you're producing porcelain. So my factory I had to go through with my factory and find out what is their shrinkage percentage. And we had 3D pieces. Once the doll was scanned, each piece had a 3D printer piece made, enlarged to exactly the factory specifications of their shrinkage rate. And I was just crossing my fingers that, you know, that was accurate, because all I could do is take their word for it. And I couldn't believe that they could really pinpoint the shrinkage that closely. I have in here somewhere pictures of but you can find them online too, pictures of the 1470 naked 1470 doll laying next to a the original naked 1469 doll, my doll, and they are within a millimeter of being exactly the same. The factory was right, and the percentage that we blew everything up with worked really well. So and my antique doll came back. It was perfectly fine. I put it all back together again, redressed her in her original outfit, and she's happy as a clam in her box where nothing can hurt her because she's been through enough.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Great. Thank you. I've got the second question, which
Sure.
is about I noticed that there's a kind of synergy between the new dolls and the Summers and Field dolls, in the sense that women's fashions in the 1920s changed in the way that women's fashions in the 1960s changed. So there was a kind of loosening up of a more youthful silhouette, getting rid of the
Exactly.
corsetry. So I just wondered if you could talk about that a little bit as well.
Oh, that's a very good point. And I think that is kind of subconsciously, I found the 60s really exciting because there was such an explosive fashion change from the restrictions of the 50s and the Donna Reed housewife thing to the 60s, where, you know, much less constricting undergarments, shorter skirts, freer, brighter, funner things, very similar to the change from the teens and the turn of the century to the 1920s. If you think of the turn of the century fashion, absolutely no woman would be without some sort of corset, which would have an under camisole, a corset cover, petticoats, sometimes a little bustle bum pad. If by the turn of the century, they were still, you know, doing some of that. Layers and layers and layers of clothes. And literally just 25 years later, and now I just think 25 years ago, let's see, that was, if we just say the difference between now, think about what our fashion is now and what our fashion was in the year 2000.
It's negligible difference, is there?
Do you feel that there is much radical difference from
Not really.
what we're doing now to what we did 25 years ago, 2000? If you say 25 years ago, you think, whoa, wow, that's a long time ago. If you say it, well, 25 years ago was like 1999 to the year 2000 about. At that point, you think, I can't specifically talk about, is there a hem length change? Or was there a difference in shoulder pads?
Okay. All right. So Ian, you can unmute yourself, and you had one more question.
I did, just a tiny follow-up, and that's that I just wondered where Doug recommends we go to get the $1,470. I did have a look at the bespoke website. It looks like there's not very much stuff on there. I mean, it's the best place to go to Happily Ever After.
Oh, yes, that's
Okay.
good. Let me explain that. When I first started doing, started putting together the 1470 dolls, and this is good to get this out here. No one has kind of mentioned our website. My original intention was, because all along I always sold C.E.D dolls were through us, and also we had a couple real doll dealers that we dealt with. I've dealt with Ed at Happily Ever After for 20 years, and he's great and supportive, and he works like crazy, and he's very good. And I had in the past dealt with Lynn at Cherished Friends as well. But then we always sold some ourselves directly. And we always had a very small number. So it was something I could handle. And for almost all the years I was doing it, my sister was there being part of the business, and her being involved helped me to be able to do that and be able to have my full-time career. And my original idea doing this, I just automatically thought, well, I'll do what we've always done. And I I contacted Ed, and Ed was like happy to do anything I wanted to do. And my original idea was that that Ed will sell some and I'll sell some, and they'll be between the two of us. And and I had a website created and did all of that. And of course, it's one of those hindsight things. As time went on, and I realized how difficult just how much goes into doing a brand new doll line. And this one had its everything has turned out really well, but it had its own share of things that needed to be constantly dealt with. And I finally realized that especially without my sister, that and no one else really to help me other than Ed, that I realized I don't really have an interest in selling these myself. I don't have the energy to do all the design and all the dealing with the factory and dealing with finding fabrics and making the patterns and making the samples and sending them over and doing all that, and being able to keep up with customers and questions and things. And that was what Ed was brilliant at. And the website was created and exists. And then I decided I'm not going to use it. Ed's going to sell everything exclusively. That's why the website is there, but you can't really order anything from it. And that was from the very beginning, when we first, the pictures of the original dolls and just a few of the first outfits. And it was right after that that I realized I just can't handle all of this. I'm not 30 anymore. and for all of those things. And Ed is so good at it, and he was happy to do it. And I said, you know what? Everything will be exclusively through you. And so now we just sell wholesale to Ed completely. And he does a brilliant job of getting everything out to people, communicating with people. Ed created the Facebook webpage. He masters the Zoom meetings, and that's great. That's why there's that website there that doesn't do anything, and all the real stuff is on Ed's page. If you don't see a picture of what he has listed are the things that haven't sold out, because we've done so many things in small numbers that several of the things that we've introduced came and went, but we're constantly doing new outfits. I think at the next Zoom meeting, we're introducing at least 2 brand new things that no one has seen yet. And I have them right here all finished and ready to go. And most of them are editions of between 20 and 30 pieces. Sometimes if it's a vintage fabric or something, like I believe that gray and black striped dress with the floral skirt, there was only enough of the skirt fabric to do 9 of them, and that's all there are. And I think they sold out right away, but everything that's available is there on Ed's site.
Okay, great. I just a thought. I wonder whether the 1470 site could have a kind of redirection on it, so
that's a good idea.
Because it looks like, as you say, there's nothing available. You can't buy it. You might lose.
That's a great idea. I should do that. I get so distracted with
I'm sure
other things. And but that's actually a great idea. I think I'll do that. The website's being done by some, place, because I don't know how to do that. That was the other thing. My sister's partner, who passed away 8 months before her, did our websites. And suddenly she was gone. And then 8 months later, my sister was gone. And the two of them were the team that kept all of that going. And so I was a little bit at a loss as to how to deal with the website work and the phone work and all of that kind of thing. But that's a great idea. And I think I'm going to try and push to do that.
Okay, great. Thanks very much, Doug.
Thank you, Ian. That was good to know.
Alan, did you want to
Sure.
you're next?
Sure. Mr. James, I don't know if you remember me, but we'd met, maybe you heard me say this a few minutes ago before the break, back in 96 at the first Gene Doll convention.
I was 12 then.
Well, I was like 22. and you were very kind to me. Gail was there and as well. And you were just so personable and helpful and
thank you.
positive, and you inspired me so much. I'll never forget your prototype that sold at Creme de Cassis. I know it was not a prototype at the time, it was a one of a kind. And your attention to detail has not faltered.
Thank you.
You are the same, and I'm so glad to see that. And you've you were so kind. So let me say, I give you my condolences for your losses.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And you're really, you're going to have to take care of yourself, whereas we all must. It's hard, but I have the question: do you do your own patterning for these clothes for this 1470 doll?
Yes, for the most part, I do. What I try and do, and what I've always done, even for Jean, Jean required that we not only do the design, but that I draped and created every pattern, then made a complete prototype, and they wanted prototypes including accessories. If they had gloves, we had to make the gloves. If it had a hat, we had to make the hat. If it had a handbag, we had to make the handbag. Make everything, provide all the patterns with instructions, and to make sure the patterns were clear enough that when they were sent to China, that they could understand them. A finished prototype and enough fabric and materials, whether it was buttons, lining, any of that, for the factory to be able to make at least 2 or 3 more out of the fabric you're providing. So I just got used to having to do that. I did that for every single Jean thing that I did. And then we did that for when we did Willow and Daisy. We did that because we started Willow and Daisy on our own. We didn't have a factory. We didn't have, we were hoping to create the concept and create the line, and then find a factory, find a company. And we did that. We created it, and then we found Knickerbocker, the LL Knickerbocker company, and they bought the Willow and Daisy concept. And again, we did all the designs, and we found all the fabrics, and then we did all the patterning and made every single sample of everything and sent it to the factory. Matter of fact, there are a couple out. I'm going to do this Willow and Daisy thing here. And there are several things, because in the 60s with Willow and Daisy, there was a lot of patterns, and I wanted to use a lot of patterned fabrics, really fun patterned fabrics. And the factory was, and we couldn't always find, and it wouldn't have been cost effective for us to find, say, a pattern silk in New York where we were. I'd find a perfect pattern silk for something, and I would send them a yard of it, make a sample, send them extra, and they would have it copied. They would copy yardage of it, but their copies, their printing process would make the fabrics a little less nice to feel. Like if you had a really beautiful soft silk, the silk you'd feel the printing on top of the silk. Yeah, they would even use silk. And it would be a little stiffer, but it would still be identical to the fabric that we provided. So the factory did do that. And that I'm kind of proud of with the Willow and Daisy things. But yeah, we did all of that. There's only one place with the certain outfits for Violett and Gabby, the factory that does them, their strong point isn't taking something I've done and copying it for a lot of reasons I won't go into. They're just not good at it, and they don't like it. They do much better if I send them a picture and say, I'd like something like this, and then they figure it out themselves. And also suggesting fabrics, and then they source the fabrics where they are. Because at one point I sent them just one piece of 5 yards of cotton to make something out of, and shipping this one small box of 5 yards of cotton cost almost $200 just to ship that one box for one element of this outfit we were going to make 20 of. So we realized in this one instance for this one factory, it doesn't really work for me to do what I do for the other ones. Oddly enough, it's cheaper to send things. It's not a lot cheaper, but it's cheaper to send things to China.
If I may, is the doll at all inspired by the French doll Bleuette? Do you know Bleuette?
I do know Bleuette. I'm not sure if it's inspired by Bleuette. It's from that same period, I think. There are stories that, and I'm not sure how, in my research, I haven't found anything that really solidifies the accuracy of this, but there are stories that flappers, that fashion dolls like boudoir dolls and the 1469 dolls were popular with flappers, and they would dress them in the kind of the latest styles, and they would take them to clubs with them as an accessory. And, you know, to have the latest cool thing. And the dolls would have stockings that were rolled down at the knee, and they'd have little high-heeled shoes, and they'd, you know, be in little cloche hats and things like that. I've heard stories that happened, and it probably at least it happened a couple times. So I think that the 1469 dolls were kind of pushed into a slightly different category than the Bleuette dolls, that I think were still considered a little more of a playline doll, I think.
For children.
Yeah, a little more. And I think the concept of these dolls, because the 1469 dolls, where the feet are very simple, but they're absolutely sculpted to be a high heel foot, and it is absolutely a slim, like adult leg, and the body absolutely has a hint of a 20s bust, narrow waist and hips. So it is meant to be a young woman. And I think part of the wild appeal of the 1469 dolls is that there were very few of them that survive, and there were very few of that kind of doll that was produced. And it was quite a while after that before, of course, the comparable thing is French fashions, but French fashions even have more of a childlike quality than the 1469 dolls do. So, so I think they were really limited, and there may be people, I don't know that much about Bleuette, so I don't want to talk about it as though I'm an expert, but my feeling is that adult collectors love Bleuette, and I think it's absolutely charming, but it's still a child doll. And it's possible the 1469 dolls were kind of conceived as a slightly Bleuette's bigger sister, you know, like Skipper and Barbie or something like that. Maybe someone somewhere, you know, kind of said, oh, what if we made a slightly older version? But that's just me speculating.
And do you think that she came out, the 1469, after 1925? Like the fashions we just saw were mainly like 26 to 29.
Yes. Well, from what we know, the doll was produced from anywhere from 1910, 1912 is that early, but we know they were around through the 30s. And the other thing is that we know the dolls were starting to be made 1910, 1912 in that area. So we know they existed through the 20s, even if they were not quite sure when they stopped production, but we know they existed. And I've seen many, many original 1469 dolls dressed in 20s clothes. So that was what made me, and we know that they existed then. So even if someone took like their mother's doll and decided to dress it in something a little more up to date in the 20s, and the doll was from 5-10 years earlier, I felt that was still valid enough to choose the 20s for it. And of course,
And
the doll exists. It's the only thing it's like in the movies. If a movie is set in, let me fix this. My computer does this for some reason. If a movie, say, is set in 1920, then technically, a designer can put those people in clothes 10 years earlier. The only thing you can't do is put them in clothes 10 years later.
yeah,
Because they
and then
didn't exist. But someone can, that's, I find watching movies and especially period movies fascinating, because a really good designer knows exactly how not only the choices you make for costuming a movie are not only, well, what style would they wear? You have to think of what is their financial background, how wealthy are they, how fashionable are they? And older women tend to wear clothes that are, in the older days, tend to wear clothes that are 10 to 20 years before the current style. So it's not only okay, it's sometimes sort of more necessary to make sure an older woman isn't dressed absolutely up to date, unless she's, number one, very wealthy, and number two, very stylish, that her character is considered very stylish. So that's kind of, so that was kind of the idea again behind the 1920s clothes for the 1470 dolls. Is I thought it's appropriate because the dolls existed through the 20s and we know people dress them that way. And as Ian, as we talked about before, I just think the 20s was such a exciting transitional period, as were the 60s, which we chose the 60s for that very same reason, a very exciting transitional period. And I think both those periods, in many ways, very empowering to women, which I am all for. So, just the ability to wear brighter colors, to not be as restricted by undergarments or the garments themselves, that the garments just state and reflect a freedom that both periods are kind of exuding.
I think the freedom of what happened in the 25 years between 1900 and 1925 was World War I.
Yes.
And how it changed
Yes.
women's roles.
Yes.
And then I think in 1962 to 64, it was the youth quake and the baby boom generation taking over,
Yes.
and saying we want change.
It's interesting because wars have unfortunately been the catalyst for a lot of change. Like the 60s, one of the big catalysts of the women becoming freer and demanding more autonomy and a little more power was the Vietnam War. And the same thing with the World War II. Women suddenly went from, they had a certain amount from World War I, they had a certain amount of freedom, a certain amount of letting the reins on them loosen a little bit, to then World War II, where we absolutely, the country needed women to step in and start working at factories and start doing jobs that men had done but weren't here to do. So suddenly it was okay for a woman to wear pants and overalls and stuff like that because she had to. Whereas before it'd be like, well, no, you have to wear gloves and high heels and stockings to go work in that factory. And they had no choice but to loosen all those concepts. And then once that's out of the box, it's hard to put it back in once the war was over.
I think if you don't mind, Alan, I'm going to move on to Anne. Anne, did you have a question?
Yes, more comments than question. First of all, it's so nice to be able to meet you, Doug.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, let's see here. I wrote a couple notes because I'm trying to listen to the conversation, then I get distracted and I don't want to forget what I want to say.
Of course.
First of all, sorry for your loss of your dear loved ones, and I hope
thank you.
I hope your health is on a clear path to
It's
a good
very
one
good.
now.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been very hard for all of us, but then we learned to use Zoom, so this is wonderful. And I'm not familiar with the details of the different fashion eras, and I love what you've done in producing many fashions for this era because I like to play with dolls, and I appreciate that.
Well,
And
that is the
I
bottom
will,
line.
yeah. And so instead of just having a doll dressed in one thing and then displayed, I mean, some people like that too, and that's wonderful.
Mhm.
But then when you have more than one, you can switch it up. Um, because you showed the photo of Elowen wearing a fashion, and I have an Elowen, so then I'm going to be interested in trying the different fashions. And I have a question. I'm sure Elowen's head's larger than your doll. Is the size of the wig 5? My guess, is it a 5?
The size of the 1470, I think,
Yes.
is bigger. It's a 6.
Oh,
It's between a 6 and 7.
oh, okay. See, that's very
Yeah, her head's
interesting
between
to
a
know.
6 and a 7.
Okay, thank you. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned about the designs that you made for Jean, and High Five was one of my first purchases.
Oh, good.
So yeah, because it was unique. We have, we love all our glamour fashions, but I really love that. And
Oh,
the
thank
little
you.
cardigan, and also Shooting Stars, one of my favorite, because
Oh, thank you.
I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, so it's very
Oh,
Western
perfect.
theme here. Yeah, and I just like collecting Western wear for my dolls of different eras. So my question about your career in costuming for the movies, do you get to go to locations?
Most of the time, I have a couple times. Most
Mhm.
of the time, not. I still have. I have a work studio in New York that I do, and my specialty is millinery, hats.
Oh,
So for Broadway, most of the Broadway stuff I've done is the millinery. I did a lot of the women's hats for Phantom of the Opera and for the Phantom of the Opera tours and all of those things. Phantom, Something Rotten, all those Broadway things were millinery things. I still have things right now in Aladdin. And I would make those in my studio. I would go to fittings and then I just deliver the hats and do that. And even for movies, there were a few times that I would go to locations, but not only if they were local. They didn't want to. It would cost a lot of money for them to fly any of us to a special location and then have to put us up in something like that. Like for instance, there's a movie called Guarding Tess with
mhm,
Shirley MacLaine, and I
mhm.
made all of Shirley MacLaine's hats for that movie. And it was mostly shot right around New York. So I was able to get on a subway, go to the set, and hand them the hats and do things like that. Um,
Yes.
uh, and for the movie Muppet Christmas Carol, we made all of that. I did all the puppet hats. There were over 200 puppet hats for Muppet Christmas Carol, and I was the only milliner. I did every single hat, and we did them all in the Jim Henson Carriage House in New York on the Upper East Side. And all the puppets and the puppet costumes were all made there. Then all of that, once we finished it, was all shipped to England, and then it was all shot in Muppet Christmas Carol was all shot in England. And they did the same thing with Muppet Treasure Island. We made everything in a shop in New York. On Muppet Treasure Island, I did all the puppet hats and I did all the principals' hats. So I made Tim Curry's hats and Jennifer Saunders and several other things. But we finished that, and then it was all shipped to England, and we all stayed behind. So I didn't really ever get to travel much doing any of those particular things. And I was doing that stuff like in the meanwhile, like I would do Saturday Night Live on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was when I would work on either the Broadway stuff or the Muppet things or stuff like that. So I was I was the assistant head of wardrobe for Saturday Night Live. So I was committed to that show, and I was on Saturday Night Live for 29 years. And in 29 years, I only missed one show. And so I was kind of committed to that. So that kind of kept me from doing a lot of traveling away from there.
Well, with dolls, that's one thing we can do is play and have them wear hats, since it's not very fashionable for us humans to wear it. So I love collecting hats.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just love it. And so thank you so much for all your talent. And the reason why I was just wondering if you were traveling, because I know we have a lot of movies done up here. And I thought, if you're ever up here, come and then I'll come
I
and meet
know.
you.
You know, I
Yeah.
did at one point, there was a TV show called The Plot Against America. And it was either that or there was another one. And I did a lot of hats for it. And I remember, and it was being shot in Calgary. And I remember talking to them, and the woman that because I was making shipping arrangements, I had made some things based on their measurements and pictures they wanted. And I was making them in New York and shipping them ahead to Calgary. And I remember calling ahead and talking to the one of the wardrobe people who said, "Can you come here and work? We would love to have you." And I said, "I would love to do that, but I just don't have the time to do that." But I know a lot of stuff is done up there.
Yeah, thank you so much. And then, by the way, all you baddie friends here, please, if you ever come this way, I want to meet you in person. Thank you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Anne.
Yeah.
Terrence,
Well-
I think you had another question.
I do, and Doug, I want to preface this by saying it. I'm not trying to put you on the spot with this question.
Oh, go ahead. Put me on the
Okay, you're
spot.
ready. All right. How do you feel about I want to ask about the shoes again for the 1470.
Sure.
How do you feel about the integrity of the faux leather that the shoes are being made out of?
Oh, I'm not familiar with a lot of integrity stuff at the moment.
Okay.
I know Jason, and I've done, I designed something for integrity.
No, I mean the integrity of the material.
The integrity of the material.
Yeah, and I'm only mentioning it because I've got Madame Alexander's, which they used faux leather to do the vanity cases and shoes, and it's degrading over time.
Yes.
And I'm only bringing it up because it's been my experience with more vintage faux leathers, they don't seem to be affected by time, where the more modern materials, and it could be where they come from, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I think that, well, a lot of it, like when we were doing, well, even a lot of it, if the shoes are made at a factory, and of course all the shoes are made at a factory, there really isn't, their shoes are just way too complicated to have like a home cottage industry do it or something like that. They have to be made at the factory, and you are sort of limited by what the material the factory offers you, and that was our instance too. It was like, well, the factory just says, here are our samples, this is what is available to us, so this is what is available to you. And for the most part, we just kind of have to trust. And I have often said to them, well, what is the longevity of this? What is the, do you have any idea what the quality is of this? Is this the best quality you can get? And we kind of have to just trust with them. The one thing that I'm disappointed in is like all the Willow and Daisy shoes, but I also have to stop and think, well, that was over 20 years ago that we made those. And and we were doing a lot of patent leather looks, and a lot of the patent leather looks that we were doing at that time, a lot of that has like disintegrated a little bit in the Willow and Daisy shoes. I haven't noticed things being the leatherette on C.E.D or some of the other things having a problem. And the feel to me of our 1470 stuff right now is really good. I feel like, you know, who can tell what it's going to be in another 20 years, but it feels very substantial to me, and it feels like it doesn't feel flimsy. I'm pretty confident that they're going to stay pretty good. And we have a couple shoes that have sort of a suede finish, and that feels very good to me. Like we have a two-tone blue shoe. It's the shoe that came on our original Kate doll, and they are also available separately. And they're beautifully made. They're really incredibly finished, and they're really beautifully made. I feel like they're, you know, I'm hoping, but I feel like they're going to, that they were really good quality and they're going to last a really good long time.
Thank you.
Doug, do you want to take us into the 60s?
Yes, so let's go into Willow and Daisy. So, of course, Willow and Daisy are the 60s, and I've included in here not only just pictures of Willow and Daisy, of course, but pictures of not specific, there's some things that were kind of specific inspirations and some things that are just conceptually inspirations. These are 3 dresses by Pierre Cardin, who was one of the, we tried to look at every influential designer of that period. And these are just 3 very iconic Pierre Cardin dresses of the 60s on 3 mannequins. This is a look from the famous department store Biba. And we also were trying to be, not only were we trying to use the Biba look as part of our inspiration of fashion designs, we were using the Biba store concept as part of the entire concept for Willow and Daisy. The Willow and Daisy concept was that Willow and Daisy were, their fathers owned a Biba-like department store in the 60s in London called Summers and Field. And we did a lot of research on Biba and the look that they had and the kind of things that they did. They not only sold clothes, they sold furnishings and you know, the coolest, most up-to-date stuff. And so the idea was that Willow and Daisy's fathers co-owned the store. Willow was English and Irish, and Daisy was English and Indian. And yet they were born around the same time and were raised as sisters. And I purposely wanted to do Willow and Daisy this way because we didn't, this was the beginning of us not wanting to do one lead doll like Barbie, like, you know, that there's a lead doll that was up till, you know, not too long ago, was always usually blonde and white. And then eventually she got friends and they were always somewhat lesser. You know, there's Midge, who's, you know, Barbie's kind of homely friend. And then eventually they had like a black friend, or they had a, you know, other ethnicities of friends. That was great, but there's always that subconscious feeling of the friends are lesser than the most important character. And we wanted Willow and Daisy to come out right out of the gate as complete equals. And that was how Willow and Daisy were created. This is a Courrèges dress. We did several things that were kind of inspired by Courrèges, that very metallic, very geometric kind of look. This is Emilio Pucci. We also tried to do a lot of things that had that Emilio Pucci kind of Italian, but very bold, very distinct print kind of things. This is one of the first, this is the first Willow doll in what we called autumn colors. And it was this blonde Willow wearing a kind of melon color leotard with matching stockings, a brown suede skirt with a chain belt, and she has a plaid cape with a matching tam, and she has her purse, excuse me, gloves, her boots, and she came with a map of London, which we thought was, you know, every girl has to have that. It's a close-up of, this is one of the prototypes of the Willow and Daisy dolls. We had prototypes made, and we had them made in vinyl. And then when they went to into the factory to be produced, the doll's face was changed just a little bit. The doll was made a tiny bit smaller. She was made a little slimmer, but this is one of the prototypes that I hand painted. This is a prototype of the Milkmaid wedding doll. This dress is based sort of on an Arnold Scaasi, who was also a big designer in the late 60s. Another picture of the Daisy Milkmaid wedding doll. Another picture of Daisy and Milkmaid wedding. This is again the prototype. We're going to see pictures of the final production dolls, and you can see how they look a little different. This is, I'm sorry, I couldn't find bigger pictures. This was another one of the first dolls, first Willow dolls. And the name of this has popped out of my head, but it was a yellow silk dirndl skirt, strapless dress with a pink beaded lace top and olive green gloves. This is the Daisy Trafalgar Square. This is the other dress doll. She came like this in a pleather Edwardian jacket, mini skirt, boots, and matching headband. And she came with a magazine handbag. One of the popular things for like 5 minutes in the late 50s, early 60s were handbags, clutch bags that looked like a rolled up, folded over fashion magazine. So we did our own fashion magazine and it became her handbag. This is an outfit. This was a little mini dress. The top was entirely hand sequined. The bottom is silk, and it came with little short gloves, a beaded purse, and matching shoes. This was called New Year's Eve. This was also a separate outfit. And the top is actually silk chiffon, and the underdress, the top is very full, and the underdress is a satin, a fuchsia satin sheath. And this dress was sort of inspired by Barbra Streisand. This is the satin sheath that's underneath the dress. This is Barbra Streisand in what was sort of vaguely the inspiration for the New Year's Eve outfit. This was also a separate outfit. This is again on one of our prototype dolls. This was called Piccadilly. It was considered a shopping outfit, and it's a little raw silk dress with this custom done collar and sleeves, handbag. It came with a little wrapped box from Summers and Field, matching shoes, and a little cap hat. And she has blue gloves, blue shoes, and a blue hat. This is the Ladybug concert outfit. This was a separate outfit. Again, leotard, stockings, the kitten boots, the pleather little mini skirt thing here, and the matching hat. I believe she had white earrings as well. And this is a program from the Ladybug concert. And if anybody, if you find this program, or if you have it, there is my sister's college picture is in here as she's one of the ladybugs. This is another separate outfit. We called this rock and roll, and it was a huge mix and match outfit with all these pieces. And again, this is gone too fast. This is again on prototype dolls, and it's the little crop top, the hot pants with the chain belt, the fur bag, short ankle boots. It also came with big elephant bell bottom pants, a long tunic top that could also be a mini dress, the fringed vest, the peace symbol necklace, and a scarf that could be used as a headscarf or a neck scarf or whatever you wanted. And that was kind of loosely based on, this is another, I believe, Emilio Pucci pantsuit, kind of the inspiration of that. This was called a separate outfit called Jazz Club. And it was a little mini dress with the cotton net tank swing overdress over it. It came with custom earrings, 3 bracelets, and the black kitten boots. This was one of the first advertising pieces for the Willow and Daisy dolls, and we didn't have the final dolls yet. So again, these are the prototype dolls, and we had done this set just for these photographs. This is a picture of Laura Meisner, who I started Willow and Daisy with, and this is us at the a Chicago show, and we were just sort of debuting Willow and Daisy here, and you can now see that these are the factory dolls here, and you can tell they're a little bit slimmer. They're just a tiny, tiny bit smaller. That's me at this same Chicago show. Here is part of the display. They had blown up pictures of some of the dolls here. This is the New Year's Eve outfit. This is the Piccadilly outfit. And you can see they're on the actual dolls, which have slightly slimmer necks and are just a little slimmer. This is the Trafalgar Square doll on Daisy. She came like this. Another picture of the display in Chicago, and another picture of the Chicago display. Another picture of the Chicago display. Here's another picture of the Chicago display here. And this is the Jazz Club outfit on a Willow. Another picture of the New Year's Eve outfit. Another picture from the Chicago display. And this is the production Milkmaid Wedding Daisy doll here. And the production outfit of the Ladybug concert. And autumn colors. And this is the just sort of, I believe this is Barbara Streisand from On a Clear Day, which was designed by Arnold Scazzi. And the plaid tam and just the plaid little jumper are kind of a little bit of the inspiration of autumn colors. Here's one of the ads for the Summers and Field dolls. And this includes dolls from mostly dolls from the second season of Willow and Daisy. And this was called, it's gone right out of my head, but this outfit was very much inspired by Courrèges, that whole metallic thing. This outfit was called Summers and Field 25th Anniversary. It's an evening gown. This was called King's Road. I think we may have more pictures of those particular things. This was a catalog thing showing some of the different outfits. I believe all of these are separate outfits, except of course, Milkmaid Wedding down here in the bottom left corner. Here is a picture of a production doll in this pink outfit, which I can't remember the name of, which is very embarrassing, and I know people will know it. This was another sort of an inspiration. We didn't take any specific outfits that we did. We were kind of doing later 60s than Francie, but we looked a lot at the Francie outfits and the whole Francie clothes, and they're really so fun and great. This was from, I think, the second season, and this is called oh geez. It's a racing outfit, or for them to go Grand Prix. It's called Grand Prix. That's why. And it is a powder blue satin jumpsuit with a bolero jacket and a matching hat and little silver boots. It has pink sunglasses, a hand printed multicolored silk scarf, and she has a pink gloves and a race car shaped shoulder bag. And this is a racing list. And I looked up the actual racers of the Grand Prix from, I think it was 65 or 66, and used their real names. And here is a doll wearing the Grand Prix outfit. This is someone else's photograph. So she's also wearing the cap and the gloves from the basic Daisy swimsuit doll. And this is sort of part of the inspiration for the hat and sunglasses and the racy look of that Grand Prix outfit. This is Audrey Hepburn in How to Steal a Million. If you haven't ever seen it, it's one of my favorite movies. It's just a lot of fun. And I think it was perhaps Peter O'Toole's very first movie, if I'm not mistaken. This is the poor boy outfit. This is one of those examples of, we found this silk fabric for the bodice, for the shirt, and I loved it. I thought it was perfect. And the factory copy printed it. And it's the shirt with a man's necktie, the brown pinstriped flare bottom pants with matching cap. It has a belt. She has ankle boots, an apple, a candy bar, a school book, and then the shoulder bag is actual newspaper from the 60s that we looked up, and I shrank down and we printed it out to be the fabric for the shoulder bag. This is another, of course, iconic inspiration from the 60s, Twiggy. This is a Daisy doll wearing the blouse from the poor boy outfit. Close-up of the Daisy doll. This is one of the second-year Daisies. This is, we also did a mannequin, a store window mannequin, and that you could use to display costumes and things like that. And this is a mannequin wearing the Autumn Colors outfit. And this is one of the production dolls wearing Autumn Colors. These are three of the dolls, the dress dolls. We were actually, Laura and I were on Home Shopping and selling the Willow and Daisy dolls. And the Home Shopping, they decided just for them, they didn't want to sell any extra outfits. So they dressed about, I think it wasn't very many, about 100 dolls of each, and each separate outfit came on a doll just for Home Shopping, which must be what this doll probably is here. This is the original Willow and Daisy dolls right out of their boxes, Autumn Colors in Trafalgar Square. And these are second-year dolls wearing 25th Summers in Field 25th anniversary and the New Year's Eve outfits. And these are the second-year swimsuit dolls. The Willow doll came with these very pale lips and a very short haircut, and they each came with hair pieces that you could put on them. The backs of these dolls. This is the mannequin that you could get, the Summers in Field mannequin in its box. It came with a straight left arm, a straight right arm, and a bent right arm. So you could choose. And the arms popped on and off to make them easier to dress. These are two outfits, two of the dolls, the Willow and Daisy, and they're wearing, I think this outfit is the National Gallery outfit, and this is the Jazz Club outfit here. And this is, again, Barbara Streisand from On a Clear Day, designed by Arnold Scassi. And you can see the influence of this sort of Madeline hat look that we saw in a few outfits, like the National Gallery outfit for that you saw just before that on Daisy. There's the National Gallery outfit again here. She had a pyramid-shaped silk handbag. The front flap opens up to show the pyramid, and tights, navy blue tights, blue shoes, the Madeline hat. And this is the captain's table outfit. This is white. This is made out of white silk charmeuse, and the tie is 100% silk chiffon. And her little duffel bag thing here is also 100% silk. We got the factory to use these really good fabrics. We just kind of lucked out. Again, here's another picture of Barbara Streisand from On a Clear Day, showing that Madeline influence, that Arnold Scassi influence. This is the Kings Road outfit, as you saw it in its box. It's the little military designed hot pant jumpsuit with a maxi pleather coat in a snake pattern with fur at the cuffs, collar, and hem. It has a matching Russian hat. It has black tights, purple gloves, the black high boots, and it comes with a shopping bag and some things that she's bought on her shopping trip. And this is two Willows, this one in the Kings Road outfit and this one in the Poor Boy outfit. And these are the two swimsuit dolls. Willow in her outfit, they both have rather short hair, and Daisy in her swimsuit. They're both a little bit sort of Rudy Gernrich inspired by. These are two different Willows. She's wearing a mix and match of the Kings Road outfit over the Ladybug concert tights and top with the pleather skirt from Trafalgar Square. This was the Supper with Friends outfit. That was the second year. This over dress here is all silk chiffon. And I think she came with a menu of what she was going to serve for supper. And the boots have a layer, a cream colored pleather with a layer of lace over them. These are two kind of mix and match pictures of Willow and Daisy. This is Daisy wearing hair pieces. And this is sort of a picture of the two of the mannequins wearing the rock and roll outfits, all sort of mixed and matched together. This is the captain's table outfit as you get it in its package. And that's the captain's table pieces right there. And this is the rock and roll outfit as you would get it in its package. And these are, again, pieces of the rock and roll outfit on two Willow and Daisy dolls. That is a Ladybug concert Willow in her box. And this is one of the first ads that we did with that backdrop that you saw. These are, again, the prototype dolls, not the factory dolls, but it was kind of the background and the photograph and everything made a great ad. I always kind of loved this. We were also wanted to create these hat boxes, but somehow we never did. And this is just a picture of three of the dolls in their boxes. I think these must be, again, because this doll didn't come in this, so this may have been a doll from the home shopping This was an outfit called Little Under Things, and it was a silk bra and panties with a little silk overwrap, and it had mules and a little hand mirror and flowers to put in her hair and a little box of powder and a lot of different things. These are two of the second year dolls. This is the, oh, I keep getting these things mixed up, but this is the Supper with Friends outfit on, and these two dolls came in these outfits. And that's, again, this Courrèges-inspired doll. That's a close-up of the Courrèges-inspired doll. And Supper with Friends. These are the display of the two swimsuit outfits that I think we were displaying in one of the doll shows. Close-up of Willow in the swimsuit, and you can see her hair pieces here at the side here. And this is a picture of the Daisy doll without her cap, but these are her three hair pieces. Oh, there's her cap. And I think there should have been one more hair piece. Not all of these pictures are my pictures. I had to kind of find pictures because I was a little too busy and preoccupied to do a lot of pictures of my own. These are, again, the two swimsuit dolls. This is, we did just a little while ago, we did a resin version of Willow and Daisy, and we did a very few of them. We did just a one-time thing of them, and this is, but we did them exactly with the Willow and Daisy bodies. They're just resin and they're much more jointed and posable. And this is the resin Willow wearing the Ladybug concert thing here. And this is the resin Daisy here. And this is how the resin Daisy came in this silk chiffon dress. And this is how the resin Willow came. And it was called Lace. So she has this little lace mini dress. Oh, and these are pictures, I just threw these in. This is the original, my 1469 doll that I took apart and we used to make the molds for the 1470 doll. So you can see the antique doll and our dolls next to each other right here. And here's the picture of the two dolls next to each other. You can see this is the antique doll, porcelain head and composition body. And this is the 1470 doll, porcelain head, porcelain body. And I didn't notice when this picture was taken, but her two upper leg pieces were reversed. That's since they're all reversed and correct now. This is a picture of the Silver Siren Mary, which you've seen. This is a full-length picture of the Gay Sunday Best outfit, which you've seen. This is a full picture of the Wrapped in Red doll. All these three are dolls, are dolls dressed like this. And again, this is the emblem outfit. The Seaside Cotton outfit is there. It's a pair of the shoes. These are the shoes that come with the Wrapped in Red doll. And these are the Silver Siren shoes. And this is the full tennis time outfit: hat, cape, dress, and tennis racket. And a full shot of the 1470 dress form. And there's another shot of Elwyn wearing Captain's Daughter. We've seen these. This is this. I think the last time I showed the pictures of Willow and Daisy, we didn't show the other pictures first. And I think that's it.
Well, thank you so much. I know
Yes.
of other things, but this was a really great dive into your lines. Now, does anybody have any questions for Doug? Vera, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, I think I'm unmuted. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Doug. That was great. I came a little bit a few years later to collecting Daisy and Willow, but I love their fashions. And one of the fashions that you didn't mention, and I'm starting to wonder if it was really an official fashion or not, was something that looked like a Warhol 4-panel drawing screen, looked like
Yes, red and
painting.
white with graphic
Yeah.
pictures. Well,
Yeah.
that's an interesting story. We
I
did.
could never find it.
Well, that's funny. What happened was, and years ago, I was afraid to talk about this at all, but I can now, I think. What happened was we created Willow and Daisy. We sent it to several different companies, and LL Knickerbocker responded, and we went and did a presentation with them, and they said, yes, we want to produce it. We will represent it. We signed with them. They went to represent it. They didn't tell us that they weren't in very stable financial condition. We got the first 2 years, the first 2 collections out of Willow and Daisy, and they announced restructuring bankruptcy. And we were told, and yet they said to us, well, we can't pay you, but we still want you to create the next season and do, because we had started working on season 3. Well, we want you to keep doing all of that. We want you to do season 3, but we can't pay you anything and we don't have to, because we're in restructuring bankruptcy. And by that time, we got a lawyer, because we thought, well, this could be not very good. And the lawyer said, you have to just stop working on this project, because the more you work on it, they could go to a judge and say, well, we're restructuring, we're trying to bring the company back. And part of doing that means that we're relying on their work. And so we, of course, since we're restructuring, we're not in good shape, we can't pay them. So we will maybe, if we do okay, we could maybe pay them something in the future. She said it was possible that the judge could force us to continue to work for nothing on this project. So we kind of were very official about it. And we sent them the thing saying, we understand, but for legal reasons, we can't continue to do this for nothing. We can create some sort of other contract where you will sort of guarantee us some sort of payment that we were, in the future to do this or something. And well, they didn't want to do that. And they were sort of under the opinion that, well, now that we have Willow and Daisy and we've sold 2 years of Willow and Daisy and people know Willow and Daisy, we don't need you guys anymore. So we said, well, we can't do anything on it. And they said, well, we don't want you to do anything on it. You have to stay away. And they just hired like anybody that they had. I think like the wives of a couple men that worked there made some clothes for them. And they had people that I think some collectors had contacted them and had said, oh, look what I made for my Willow and Daisy. And they said, oh, can we pay you $5 to let us produce this? And so that next season, that 3rd season, we had nothing to do with. And they brought out another whole line of Willow and Daisy. And it was very awkward because we were at Toy Fair. And by then, both Laura Meisner and I were designing Madame Alexander sissies for the Madame Alexander company. So we were at the Toy Fair over at the Madame Alexander booth while LL Knickerbocker was showing our Willow and Daisy dolls wearing other people's things and other designs. So we kept sneaking over to look at them, hoping that no one was there that we knew. And we noticed that a lot of the face paints and the hair were on the dolls they had just rehashed what we had done the year before. They didn't really have anyone to say, let's change the eyeshadow color, let's change the lip color, let's do this hairdo, because Laura was brilliant with hair. And Laura not only created the hairstyles. When we went to, LL Knickerbocker sent us to China to oversee the first year of Willow and Daisy. So we spent 2 weeks living at the factory, and Laura not only created those hairstyles, she sat and taught a whole group of the young Chinese women who were working at the factory on hair. She sat and taught them how to do these hair asymmetrical Sassoon haircuts and things that we were doing for the dolls. And when we weren't there to do that, then that just didn't happen. So that, I think to answer your question, that dress is part of the, and as I remember, we saw some of those clothes for that thing were really very good. And we thought particularly that dress, we were like, dang, that's really cute. We really like that. It was a very clever idea. And, but I don't know how many they made of them. And that was part of that third season that we didn't really have a part of. But I think they are kind of sought after because we know we had a general idea what the numbers they were doing for the first 2 seasons. But that season, of course, we had no idea of what they were doing. So
Thank you for that. Yeah,
but
that is the scarcity of it.
There is also sort of an I Dream of Jeannie outfit that is from that season. It's very like harem pants and stuff like that. And there's another like Chanel suit that I think is like pale green or something.
Yeah.
And that's from that third season.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's, I can't remember, there were a limited number of things in that third season, but that's what that was all about.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any questions? I'm just checking. You see Anne, and I think that's
what was the I missed what Vera, what outfit was Vera talking about? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can. It's that. It was like Andy Warhol inspired. It was a short dress
right.
with the
Yeah,
four.
yeah. That was from
Yes,
the third season. Yeah.
It was like the Mondrian dress.
Yeah, I think I know that one. But what I wanted to ask you about is that there was one called High Tea, and it was a leopard coat.
Yes, that was from that third season also.
Okay. Yeah, that one's also very hard to find too. It's interesting to note though that you and Laura didn't work on that collection. I had no idea until now.
Yes, yes. Well, we were because we were in legal proceedings with LL Knickerbocker for years. And matter of fact, when kind of on a side note, when I finally, Laura passed away, at the end, we were just kind of finalizing the second year of C.E.D. Well, not even finalizing it. We had just created a few of the things to begin production for the second year of C.E.D. when Laura passed away. And so then I kind of pulled it all together and finished creating that second year of that. And at the same time, I thought, well, I felt very like Willow and Daisy was left dangling, and it was our concept, and I thought, I don't want to give it up to LL Knickerbocker. But by then, LL Knickerbocker had gone under, and that's when Violett and Gabby happened. And Violett and Gabby happened because I didn't want to use Willow and Daisy just yet for fear of somebody coming out of nowhere and saying, you don't own that, Knickerbocker owns it now, or Knickerbocker owns a percentage and you now owe us $1 million, or there being any kind of other craziness. So I thought, if it's not Violett and Gabby, if it's not Willow and Daisy, it's their cousins, Violett and Gabby. And I changed the head sculpt and make it a little bit different style. Then I felt much more comfortable. And then I redesigned the boxes and did a whole thing. So that's how Violett and Gabby came around.
And Anne saw
Sorry, but I put in the chat a screen grab of that dress that I was talking about.
Oh,
great. Thank you, Vera. Terrific. And you had a question?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Ian will know that the title of that first gown, that yellow gown. I have it. That's my first one. I just love it, Doug. I just love it to death.
oh, thank you.
Yeah. And your marketing strategy about introducing the two dolls as equals really worked, because I couldn't pick the favorite when I was playing with one or the other. And actually, well, yeah, I couldn't. But I do lean to Daisy only because I love the fact that she had a mixed heritage. And that wasn't very common back when you issued the dolls that were non-white, beside white or maybe black, American black. But I love that factor of it. And I know England's history of having, a lot of immigrants going to England.
Exactly.
Yes. So that was a great
I
story.
wanted to touch on that and touch on the whole, and also just the concept of two girls with different racial backgrounds being raised as equals and being like sisters, and just whatever subtle message that could send out was right from the very beginning, was very important to us. And
it sure did. And because I'm not, white, visually white, that also resonates with me. And so I really like seeing that in the doll world. Yeah. And I love the story about the details of how you made certain items, like the newspaper. So now I'm going to treasure the tote bag even more, knowing it's a replica of a real newspaper. Stuff like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I get very, very OCD fixed on details. And, I thought, if she's like a newsboy, but we wanted to have like a school, but it's also like a going to school outfit. She should have a shoulder bag, but to reference the newsboy thing, the shoulder bag should have a newspaper print on it. And that just led me to, but then the newspaper print has to be the right newspaper. It can't just be anything. And so, yeah.
I love that.
Back then, this was 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. And I thought, well, these are going to be around for a long time. And, I don't want just anything to be around for a whole long time. And here it is 20 years later, and you have one, and we're talking about it. So it kind of worked.
Yeah, and I treasure all the ones I have. I don't have them all, but I'm always still trying to get them. And my favorite item is the National Gallery hat, the Madeline hat.
Oh,
I
thank
just
you.
love it. I put it on every doll. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
thank
really
you so much.
cute.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions for Doug? Well, Doug, oh wait, Terrence, you have sneaking one last in. Come on in. You have to unmute. Terrence, unmute.
Okay, thank you. I had to learn how to tie an Eton knot when I got that poor boy. It's a real tie.
It's a real tie.
If you tie the regular knot I know how to tie, it's too long. So I had to go online and find a tutorial on how to tie the Eton, because you could tell they're, what they are by the knot.
Yes.
I just want to comment on the National Gallery outfit, and this is sort of a characteristic of a lot of the Daisy and Willow costumes. The detail is incredible. It's like a shrunken down couture piece of clothing. The little skirt to keep that form is lined with buckram. And I was just flabbergasted when I took it out of the box and saw that it was like a tiny piece of a couture clothing, that extra element in it that you would have in full-size clothing to keep the shape.
And that was another piece that we had found, a beautiful piece of silk fabric that had that those kind of tiny little matte square, geometric square, subtle print on it. And of course, the fabric was like $50 a yard. Of course, I have really expensive taste. So we sent the fabric to China, and they took silk fabric and dyed it to identically match the background color of the original fabric. And then they custom printed those little squares on all of that fabric to exactly match our original sample fabric. So that not only was the dress made, the fabric was created for that dress.
Yeah, there was a lot of quality in those clothes,
Well,
quality details.
Doug, thank you so
Thank you.
much. I'm going to ask everybody to unmute yourselves for a moment so that we can thank Doug for being here with us. So a round of applause.
Thank you, Doug.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all
Thank
your
you.
time.
Great audience.
It was just been such a thrill to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's do it again.
All right.
We learned a lot.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that came up earlier was price points, Ian. I don't know if you mind sharing
I
that.
can't remember, but Gail, can you remember how much they cost?
Well,
Beautiful.
Sioux, I think,
Oh.
was one of the more expensive ones. I think she was $279.
Oh,
Yes.
that's better than I thought. Yeah, I thought.
For personal collecting, it's not bad price.
Oh, they're in the
No,
mid
I thought it was
hundreds.
350-ish. Oh, I like her.
Nice.
She's
Yeah.
Very
pretty.
Her hat is
Yeah.
fantastic.
She's got that bob. I love that bob.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you can see, she's got little, what are they, red and gold earrings?
Oh,
Not sure.
Oh.
Did she come in that fashion, Gail?
Yes, this is what she came in.
Mhm.
I know there is some still available. I don't know how many.
mhm.
And I think the white is cotton with this very fine jersey. And the shoes are adorable.
Oh.
Yeah, it sounds like that happily ever after is the only site that.
Yeah, so it's
Henry.
happily.com. Is the,
Happily.com.
yep. And it's got there's a little buckle on the side here holding, it looks like this because I'm holding her underneath. She's got
Yeah,
the,
that looks like a very typical suit of the
Not bad for the fashion and the doll for that price.
fashion
No.
60
We can research her.
to 100 and something, depending on how involved the fashion is. So, and I'm gonna say the shoes have little wooden heels.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried taking the shoes off? Are they hard to put on? And
No, they're really. Let me lie her down so I don't drop her. Nope. And right off, right back on. It's really simple.
Good.
Yep.
Ian, you have your dolly with you now?
Yeah. So there she is.
Which one
Oh,
do you
she's
have?
redressed. Yeah.
This is Kate.
Oh, you have
Yeah. So
What's she
she's
wearing?
she's wearing it's wrong period. It's kind of wrong period. It's more through 30s. It's Joan Crawford's pieces from Tonna's Joan Crawford.
Yeah.
And if your
And they
question is,
fit?
do the exactly, if that's your question, do they fit? Yes, they do fit from the front. But I'm not going to show you the back.
You're not going to show us the back.
I'm not, no.
Very pretty. So she's the blonde.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty. They're very pretty dolls, I
Yeah.
think, you know.
did you get yours from Happily Ever After, that
I think, yes. I think I did.
I think that's the only place you can get it.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he was saying, yeah.
And you have to, sometimes Doug James's stuff shows up right in the header and other times it doesn't. So just, you can do, a little search for in the menu for Doug James. And it also has some C.E.D. fashions, I think, are still on there. But there's dress dolls, there's wigs sold separately, jewelry sold separately, shoes sold separately, costumes, and then there's like some accessories. So anyways.
Yeah, they're very pretty.
Oh, how cute is
That's
that?
the dress that she came in. It's really beautifully made, and it's lovely fabric. It's a lovely woolen fabric, and lovely detail to it. And then
And you
again,
don't want a second doll so you can display both fashions?
well, the
Brand, don't go there.
the dress form is interesting, actually, and that's the little
the
suede.
shoes.
Oh, is that the two-tone blue shoe?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if people are interested, I will ask him back again. Maybe next
Please. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to know more about the costumes that he's designed as well. You know, the Muppet Show and all of those things. Be really interesting.
And I'd like to hear more about Gene and what he did with Adam Alexander.
Yeah, what he did there. We didn't get to that.
That would really be fun.
That would be fabulous.
Well, let's show and tell, and I have a list of names. So I will say who's up, and then I will say who's up next, so you can compare. And I'm not sure everybody's still here, but we'll just do what we can. And if you don't have a doll for show and tell, then, you know, just say so.
Yeah, please skip me, because I've been quarantined in my room, so I haven't been out to see a doll, get a doll.
Poor Sharon.
Okay.
Oh, I'm okay.
All right. Okay.
If you guys can hear me now, can you add Mike to the end of the list for show and tell? I have something to show.
I'm sorry. Oh, yes, I have you on the list already, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Gail, can you add me to the list?
I have everybody on the list. I've been watching as everybody has come on. So I have everyone on the list. Do not worry. You don't need to.
Can we post it too when it's our turn?
I'm going to give you, I can't really. It's a little complicated. So, but I'm going to tell you who's up, and I'm going to tell you who the next two people are.
Okay.
So that you can compare. Does that sound good?
Yes.
So between messages that I'm getting and things that I'm having to do on this end, it gets a little complicated. So first up, we're going to have Barb, and then we're going to have Jeff and Laurel. So Barb, did you have a doll to share? Is Barb still here? No. Okay. So then we have Jeff, Laurel, and Debbie Rahano. Jeff, do you have something to share?
Okay. Do I unclick the start video? So should I start?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
No.
Okay. Video? Okay. All right.
There we go.
There you are.
There you are. We see you.
Oh, there's a little thing that says, should I press the OK on it or leave it alone?
You can leave it alone. Everything's good. We see you.
We see you.
Do you see the doll?
Barely. A bit, barely.
Yes.
Where's Tanya?
I don't see Jeff anywhere.
You know what? Why don't we all switch to speaker view? And then we'll see who's ever trying to show us things.
Okay.
So what that will have to mean, though, is while someone is doing show and tell, the rest of us are going to need to be quiet so that it doesn't bounce back to us. So take it away, Jeff.
See. Okay. Can you see me?
We can see your feet.
Oh, okay. Oh, is this the way?
Okay, Jeff.
Down there. Oh.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. That's a previous convention doll from a Barbie convention from a mod theme. So she's all black and white. I don't know, was the Rocky Mountain High theme? Maybe someone else knows, but this was Flo's doll, so she gave it to me, so I had it handy. That's it. Okay.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Next is going to be Laurel and then Debbie Rojano and Barb Reed. I saw you were back, so we'll go back to Barb. Laurel, did you have something to share? Is Laurel still here?
Yes, yes, I'm here. Yes. This is a Sailor Moon doll. It's tuxedo mask. It's from 1995, and this is obviously the Japanese version, and it's black and white tuxedo. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we're going to have Debbie, and then we're going to have Barb, and then Pat.
Okay, I found my 2002 basic Tiny Kitty Collier, and she is dressed in a black and white dress that was made to fit Barbie by Tallulah Bell, which was Tula O'Reilly. And she's got her shoes that are really nice, but boy, they are hard to get on once they fall off the feet. So, and we're going to have the Tiny Kitty Collier presentation by Tom Maffei on the bad meeting that's coming up at the end of the month. So bring a tiny kitty to share.
Thanks, Debbie. Okay, next we're going to have Barb and then Pat and Helen. Barb, you have something to share? Nope, not today. Okay. So we're going to have Pat, then Helen and Anne. Oh, and Anne, I think I have the picture. Oh, well, Ian's still here, so he can show your picture. So Pat, do you have something to share?
I have a couple of dolls. This is the Riley doll by Kish Incorporated.
Yeah.
And a tiny kitty in black and fur. That's it.
I've never seen a tiny kitty that looked like that. She's really
Putting on the Ritz, I think is what she's called. I have her.
all right. So next we have Helen and then Anne and then Ian. Helen, do you have something to share?
I do. Okay, I can see myself. Hey, everyone. So this is, I don't know if your screen's blurry, mine kind of is. I don't know if you can see her. This is La Jazz Hot Una. Yes, La Jazz Hot Una in a fashion by Sandra Stillwell. That is a reproduction from, and I sec here, I looked it up, by Sophie Gimbel, who was an American fashion designer for Salon Moderne of Saks Fifth Avenue. She was a leading designer for nearly 40 years as an innovator of the new look that gained popularity after World War II. I found that interesting. That's it.
Yes, thank you.
Here she is again.
Very pretty. Very pretty.
She's beautiful.
Beautiful.
I'm not. I think she's Cool Breeze, but she could be La Jazz Hot. But I just grabbed her off the shelf real quick because I thought I got confused and thought black and white was the meeting. So I'm like, there's something black and white, and I know Vera has this beautiful fashion and brought her to show and tell also. But anyway, here she is.
Thank you, Helen.
I didn't really kiss her.
Ian, if you're still here, I think you were going to show Anne's picture.
Is everybody seeing that?
Yes.
Okay, let me just zoom in a bit. There we are. Anne, over to you.
Yeah, it's from the 2021 Integrity Toys Convention, and this doll is called Alexandra Luna. She's a transgender character, and this one in the left, or the baseball outfit, is called Varsity. That's the convention doll, and that was the theme for her. And it's okay, you know, fashion dolls and sports, I don't know, but it's kind of neat. I think years later people will appreciate that there was a sports themed convention doll. And so I just changed her from that outfit to a Barbie, is it Hervé Leisure Barbie bandage doll dress, and then I kept the same boots and another purse of integrities and stuff, and that's it. I do like her. She's very pretty.
So next we have Diane, then Carol, then Debbie and Lisa. Diane? Are you
So
still-
it just so happened that I have a whole black and white display at home in the hobby room. And this is trying to get her 2019 Silkstone black and white forever. And then behind me, I don't think you can see them, but I've also got some best model collection. And this is either Milan or Monte Carlo. And that's either Milan or Monte Carlo. I forget which is which. And then I've got the, I've got a whole group of the
Basics.
that came out.
The
Yeah,
looks.
because I bought the whole set. So in the hub room, my husband had created this black and white. It's a collage kind of thing, and so I've got my doll situated right in front of that, which is on the wall. So anyway, so I was all set for black and white, and I wore a black and white top.
Black and white.
I noticed that, everybody's color coordinated. Oh dear.
Yes.
All right, so
All
next,
right.
Diane.
Thanks.
So we have Carol, Debbie, and then Roberta. Carol?
Oh, Kara.
No Carol? Okay, Debbie and Lisa, and then Roberta, and then Francis?
Yeah. So I had this gal first, the Rocky Mountain Mod 2002 convention, but then I ran back and got another doll. This is a throwback 96 classique.
Yes.
Romantic interlude. And I just think she's beautiful. She's got the dark hair with the blue eyes, the red lips. She's wearing this cool beret with her little feather and jewel cap or jewel. And then this beautiful black coat with her white satin underneath.
Yeah, the black velvet.
Yeah, I love this series. They're just goodies. She was done by Ann Driscoll, by the way.
I have my black and white doll. It's Bruce Nygren, and this is from the 1998 National Barbie Convention, which was mine and Debbie's first convention that we went to. And so she's a true representative of Atlanta.
All right, well, thank you. Now I noticed that Roberta posted something in the chat about her doll. So everybody take a moment and check out the chat to look at Roberta's message. And then we're going to have Fran, then I have William, and Vera's left, so it'll be Tanya. So Fran, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. Just didn't have anything out at the moment. But if I don't know, can you see my doll cabinet?
No.
Nope. We're seeing the ceiling.
You're seeing the ceiling. Oh, geez. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
So I don't have any one like black and white, but I have Diana in white. And I have Diana in her "you can go away" black dress.
Revenge.
That revenge dress, yes.
So, and that's definitely, I thought I could have one doll in several outfits, but that didn't really work out for me. So I have an outfit and a doll for each thing.
That works wonderfully. They're beautiful.
Okay.
Okay, we have William next, then Tanya, then Lonnie. Is William still here?
It's probably me.
Okay.
It always goes out William, and then I have to rename it to my name. So I didn't bring anything. I don't have anything. I'm sorry.
You brought yourself.
Yeah, I brought myself.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so we have Tanya's next, then Lonnie.
I
then
am Kenya.
Oh, Tanya, sorry. Lonnie's next, and Richard and Maggie. Lonnie, are you still here? I think Lonnie left. I think she wasn't feeling well. Richard, are you still here? Richard
There.
and Grace. Richard?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm sorry, I was unmuting. My stuff is still in storage, so I can't find anything, but I did my best. So I have, you can see her. I have a Susie doll made by R&D Dolls, my friend Rudy in Taiwan, and she's wearing a black and white accessory cape that he gave out to people at one of the, I think it was IFTC, one of those conventions in Las Vegas back in the 2000s. So I was lucky to snag one. It's one of my favorite accessories. The only other black and white thing, and I couldn't find any of my black and white BJD stuff, but I have a number 3. So that's closest I could find, and she kind of matches my shirt. So.
Oh, she'll do. She'll do.
Yeah. And there's Luz, and he's kind of gray and black. Yeah.
He took me out of the box tonight. So.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was at the best.
He
was at the very best, very good anyway. So he was never NRFB. Anyway.
Okay, next we have Maggie and then Sean and then Yuko. I'm not sure if knew that we were doing theme dolls, so but I'll check when we get there. Maggie, are you here?
Hello there, I am here and I'm speaking, but can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Can you see me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because I can't see myself, so I can't tell if my let's see. I can't tell if my what's showing up. You see my
She's
doll?
in the frame.
Yes, she's in the frame. She's beautiful.
She's in the frame. Okay, so this is Elowen and she's in the black and white. There's another cream colored version of this. This is Ennui in Oz. And as her little companion, because we're in a black and white theme, she's got her little striped skunk with a flower on it. Because I think it probably is more friendly than her cat Sybil. So that's it.
She's beautiful. Thank you.
All right. Next we have Sean, then Yuko, then Alan. Sean, are you here? Still? No? So Yuko, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I don't remember if I told you about show and tell. But do you have anything you'd like to show, whether black and white or maybe?
I do think I can share the picture. So let me try to share picture. How to do this? Sorry, takes a while. Share screen, right? Share. So this is the kimono I made for Jean and Tyler. And I do have torrent too, so all are black and white. So suppose it will be just a showcase for today's meeting, I guess.
Beautiful.
Those are amazing.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's it. So,
oh, thank you.
I've asked you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I've asked Yuko to put her contact info in the chat. So, because.
Okay, so
next is Alan, then Rex, then Crystal. Alan?
Yes. If I speak, you can see me. Is that how it works?
Yes.
All right. So this is a pump that is American made. I don't have my dolls with me. So this is the typical New Look style, late 47 until about 1949. It's just that suede that is dyed black and gets on everything, but it gives you a real good idea of the basic silhouette that everyone copied. This is the shoe that that Dior, showed with his clothing and sold to go with those clothes. But, it's not a Paris shoe. It's by Mademoiselle, shoes by Carlisle. And, this is what the pair looks like, if that interests people. It's got this kind of heel, which kind of gives the age away. It's before the invention of the stiletto, of course, which didn't happen until 57, thanks to Marilyn Monroe and Ferragamo, who did that for her. And so this pair is from 1968, so 20 years later, and it's just an evening pump, kind of based on the same theme. But it's got that nice toe detail, which is like a court shoe going back to, the 1700s and before, but Edwardian period is when, in our Western culture, this shoe was really in. And that kind of came back in the retro late 60s when everything nostalgic seemed to be in style. And so here's the other one. I guess Barbie shoes from this time had a lower heel and a buckle. A flat bow or
like a pilgrim.
It's almost pilgrim. Yeah. By 2 years later in 70, we got the pilgrim, the full on pilgrim that really did like Barbie's shoe that everyone wore in everywhere. And all the shoe companies just copied and it became like a uniform. But this is like a 68 evening pump.
Is that like a rosette on top of the shoe, Alan?
Yes, it's just a rosette of fabric that is permanently attached. And these are by Mr. Jacques, the custom bootier. So American department store type, based on what was coming out of Paris, but very fashionable and perfect for going out somewhere formal in like 68.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Alan.
Okay.
Next we have Rex, then Crystal, then Eric. Rex, are you here? Rex? Okay. Crystal, then Eric, then Heather. Crystal, are you still here? Crystal?
She's here.
Hello.
Hello.
I have my Pernilla, which is dressed in a custom outfit by a gem girl from Canada. And what you can see on there are some wild and crazy cats. These are black cats on white fabric, and she's wearing fashionable hat with it. So that's my black and white for today. Pernilla says hello.
Hello.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Next we have Eric, then Heather, then somebody who's just listed as Samsung.
Maybe that's me. I don't know.
No, you were Galaxy.
Oh. I had a hard time getting on. So I don't know what.
Is Eric here?
No, I don't see him anymore.
Okay. Then Heather, Samsung, and Terrence. Heather, are you still here? I'm thinking not. Okay, whoever has the name Samsung, do you have something to share? Okay, Terrence, then Mike, then Nilsa.
Okay, I'm wearing my skeleton shirt that's got some other white accents on it. It's linen. Anyway, I brought Misaki, and I think you can see her. This is a Matt Sutton original. He did a program for us when Jackie was living in Petaluma. Brought a bunch of dolls. I think you got a Francie Gabby. And I just love this dress. You can see the detail of the rosettes and the
rosettes.
The bow in front sort of reminds me of an obi. And he did a little bit of repainting on the face. This doll is from 2012, and the clothing is actually removable. There's snaps in the back. But Matt said, although I don't know why you'd ever want to take that dress off of her. That's my black and white for today.
All right. Thank you, Terrence. I will say that the person who has the label Samsung is still on the Zoom. So you know, if you look over, if you hover over your tile, you'll see your name.
Oh.
So maybe Mr. or Ms. Samsung will want to join in a moment. But now we have Mike, then Nilsa, then Karen. Mike, you still here?
Unmute.
The picture. Oh,
There
Mike,
he is.
still muted. Sorry.
I'm going to try to send you a message to unmute. There we go.
Did I get unmuted that time?
You are.
Yeah, I'm on the iPhone, so it's all like on 14 screens to change everything. So I'm gonna reverse here. And I know this seems like the wrong thing for the theme at first, but this is my fashion queen Barbie in Japan who was manufactured. However, there was supposed to be a companion doll for her, which was C.E.D in Japan, that was never manufactured other than a prototype. And what made me think to show this was Ian talked about having custom fabric printed to do an outfit. And that's what she's standing on, is the custom black and white fabric that I had to have printed to make the kimono and pants for Ken. It is in process. It's not done. So you see my sewing kit there in my lovely Barbie pink. And hopefully I'll be able to show that to you guys soon. I wanted to put a picture of the outfit from About the Boy of the prototype dolls in the chat, but again, online just was not working for me to put it in the chat. And I know you guys have all seen pictures of my room, but I'll just give you a quick, there's behind.
I didn't see
There's
it
lots
before.
of black and white on the wall.
Drool, drool, drool.
Yeah.
Show
Pretty
us
much,
more.
except for the few Poppy Parkers, it's pretty much all Barbie, Ken, Midge, and Allen.
Oh, it looks great.
There's a couple skippers and other friend dolls in there, Stacy, but that's from my land. Also, I'm not wearing black and white today because it's 111 degrees in Sacramento. You're lucky I have a shirt on.
Okay, so
All right,
Mike,
that's it for me.
Mike,
Thanks, Mike.
That's exciting.
Mike, would you show us your room again, and then maybe
Yeah.
all of us can be quiet for a moment so we can actually see?
Sure, I'll reverse and give you there's one shelf in the center. And then on this side, I have my dioramas. Hopefully that's not making people dizzy when I move. And some cases.
That was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nilsa, then Karen.
Okay, give me a minute.
Okay.
Oops, I don't have to share screen, sorry. Okay. Can you see her?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's the walking suit Silkstone Barbie. I don't remember the year. She comes with this little umbrella. She's all, how you call this type of fabric? I don't remember.
Herring tooth.
That one.
Houndstooth.
Houndstooth, yeah.
Houndstooth. And she have black gloves with some design, like wrist. I don't know. The wrist is thick.
Yeah, those are gauntlet gloves.
Yeah. Then you have these white parts, so kind of ascot, but it's a ball. Her hat, stockings, black shoes. And I don't know why they gave her her hat, the box, hat box in the traditional silkstone colors and no black. And she also has a purse. Some of you I know have her, but I think she's too elegant to not bring out today. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Nelson.
Well, I think that's all of us. The person whose Samsung just looks like a door. So I haven't seen the person in Mr. or Mrs. Samsung's tile. I think I got everybody. Did I miss anyone? No. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the meeting. I'm so happy that we could do a Zoom meeting. It's been such a long time since I've seen everybody.
Thank you.
It is 3:15. I can leave the Zoom open for about another 15 minutes if you all want to chat amongst yourselves. And then I'll log off on the Zoom at 3:30 Pacific time.
Gail.
Thank you.
Thank
Gail.
you.
Thank you.
Welcome. This has been my pleasure.
Hey,
Thank
Gail,
you
did
so
you have a
much.
show and tell? I can't remember.
I did not have a show and tell. Not today.
And thank you to BAD for having a Zoom meeting. Much appreciated.
We're going to try and do more so we can get some of the people that don't live close together again.
Yeah.
Promise.
I think
That's
a great
nice
idea.
to see all you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
I forgot to
miss you.
show the
Yeah.
travel doll to
Oh,
everybody.
the travel doll. Okay.
Oh, the Yeah. travel
Okay, so whoever's left. Here's summer clearance. She's a beautiful travel doll, and she was playing with Addie, the last year's travel doll, Attitude, that I won at Christmas time. So she gave her this really cute dress with, I forget what you call this kind of
That's pretty.
fabric sleeves. And of course, she got her monkey when she first arrived from Lalanya. I won from BAD that Terrence, I mean, not Terrence, sorry, Carrie made.
Carrie.
Yeah.
And then I went
Yeah.
to Atlanta for the Sandra Stillwell convention and brought Summer, some cute new shoes. Okay, oops. Aren't they
Oh, those are
sweet?
nice.
Little
Those
Mary
are nice.
Janes,
I like her shoes.
little
Yep. Summer
Mary
clearance
Janes.
having fun.
Yeah, summer clearance, having fun. And her last month here, last of the month here at my house.
Thanks, Helen.
So she goes,
Thanks,
"Bye.
Helen.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Couple weeks. See you when I bring in eggs. She's gonna help me make eggs.
My doll club here in Oregon, I introduced the idea of a travel doll. And where I live in Oregon is called the Willamette Valley. So our first travel doll is Willamette. And but I have to say my group is having a little bit of a trouble quite grasping the idea of the travel doll. They're just starting to catch on. But it took, what is this, July? It's taken several months for them to realize when they get the doll, they're supposed to do something with the doll and take pictures. Of the doll. So yeah, I think people have been like, oh, I have a doll for a month.
Where in Willamette are you?
I'm in Corvallis.
Oh, my mom lives in Tangent.
Ah, very close.
At least for another month. Then she's actually moving to Olympia, but I'll be up in your neighborhood on the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of August.
Oh, next month.
Yeah, she's moving. She sold her place and she's moving closer to my sister because she's 86 and she needs companionship.
Yeah.
I was able to get into the chat and post that photo also for anybody that wants to see the Ken in Japan prototype original.
Oh, great.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw it. It's cool. Can I try to share a diorama that I just finished yesterday?
Sure.
Yes.
Let's see if this, can you see it? Because I have my iPad.
Oh yeah.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Very tropical.
It's a garden. And I
Oh,
make a water fountain and, well, I try to give the look of all bricks and stuff.
Very cute. And I noticed a special
Mhm.
car in the background there.
The pink car, we all spotted that.
Yeah,
You seen the new Barbie car over there?
yeah.
Jealous.
Is that Barbie size? Your diorama?
You can,
Barbie size?
Helen, you could get the Barbie car at Walmart right now with free shipping.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's how I got it.
Is your garden Barbie size? Nilsa, is your garden Barbie size? I can't tell the
Oh,
scale.
the garden, yes, I was thinking you was, yeah, it's Barbie and it's also.
That's a big car.
Yeah, you could put 4 dolls in there. Yeah, the garden is Barbie size, or Poppy size, Poppy Parker. So I had the little chairs from, these little chairs are from the Dollar Tree. And they can sit in there. Barbie can sit in there. $1.25 for it, for 2 chairs and the little table.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
Hey, Nilsa.
Huh?
Nilsa, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
When are they showing the first Barbie movie over there?
Over here, day 15. Which day is today?
Today's the, don't ask
16th.
me.
16.
16.
Okay, they started just last night.
Okay, they started last night.
Wow.
Different places have different dates.
Yeah.
So for us, it's on Thursday, and we
Mhm.
have an inside person at the movie theater who's told us that for the early access screening, they're going to be having some Barbie dolls that they're either giving away or selling
No.
in cars that are actually something with a popcorn.
Pink popcorn. Mhm.
So
That's exciting. Maybe my theater will do that because I'm going Thursday, first showing with my girlfriend, and Debbie was telling me that some theaters have these promotional things going on. So I don't know what, but it is the first showing of that movie at that theater. So
yeah,
Good luck. I have to work Thursday.
at my theater, they said there are 12 dolls. So.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
oh,
And
so
how
they
many
get there
people?
early.
That's not fair.
No.
Where
So
I
They're
live, it
camping out
starts
for a
on
Bruce
Friday.
Springsteen concert ticket.
Mhm.
yeah, I refuse to camp out, but
I don't know.
No, here the Alamo Draft House has a lunch pail with a thermos.
Ah,
Cinemark has Barbie patches.
so maybe I'll get a pass.
Somewhere else has a Barbie purse, like a wallet purse. And you when you buy your ticket online, you can buy the merchandise and they'll have it for you when you go pick up your ticket.
Well, they didn't offer that to me. I guess I'm gonna get nothing.
Well, no, well, when you get there, they might have it there.
They
So
might.
I was kind of nerdy in the other side. I ordered an Allen shirt in a human size.
oh, cool.
Nice. Nice.
Mhm. Are we all
But
wearing
I-
pink?
But
We're
I
all wearing
can't get
pink?
I can't get to the movie on Thursday probably because I have to work on Thursday and Friday.
Mhm, yeah.
Up here, it doesn't open till Friday, but we've already got our tickets. I didn't
Mhm.
know about that going to the first showing idea, though.
Yeah, the 20th and the 21st is over here in San Francisco.
Nice.
I just wanted to go to the first showing because I thought every single person in the room will not have seen the movie yet.
Right.
So why not? 3 o'clock it is. A day
Mhm.
early.
And none of your friends will have spoiled it for you by going, do you know that this is going to happen in the movie?
Well, people will start
No.
saying, I haven't even looked at trailers. I won't even watch the trailers. I just I'm like, go. Of course, I'll watch it. I'll look at 8 million photos of all those beautiful photos. Margot.
Well,
Oh,
what she's
speaking of
wearing to all the
merchandise.
premieres is fabulous, what she has
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
All the Barbie fashions, yes.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
and all the
fashions and
designers that
merchandise,
did them.
Unique Vintage is selling some of the original Barbie Unique Vintage line again, and some new outfits as well from the movie.
What is that?
Where?
Unique Vintage. The ones that did the human-sized Barbie dress, Solo in the Spotlight, and the apple print sheets and the bathing suit.
Oh, yeah, the ladies store.
Yeah, so they're bringing back the bathing suit and Solo in the Spotlight, and then they've added in additional Barbie items from the new movie. So if anyone wants human-size outfits.
And they have plus size on Unique Vintage.
For next year, something to wear for next year.
Macy's also has the Barbie fossil watches, the purse, they've got tons of t-shirts. Yesterday when I went on, it was buy one, get one free in regular and plus size. So Macy's has a bit of Barbie merchandise as well. So.
Yeah, all the online designers, the big designers, they have purses, they have fashions, they have jewelry.
Shoes.
Pink is in.
So much. How big is your wallet?
Well, it looks like the movie over here is on the 20th. I'm on the 50th. It's on the 20th.
Does anybody think that Margot looks like Barbie? I was trying to figure out which one she might look like sculpt of the face.
It doesn't look like Barbie to me.
Yeah, I would, but what about the one that's kind of looks like Julianne Moore to me from the late 90s, early 2000s with the longer nose and the high cheekbones? I don't know how to describe that face, but she kind of looks like that one. I'm thinking maybe they kind of hunted for an actress who looked like at least one sculpt. Well, we might hope.
Well, isn't Margot Robbie also part of the production and one of the producers of it too?
Oh,
but she does have a Barbie face. She does have a Barbie face.
Here's a trivia question. Does anybody know? Here's a trivia question. Does anybody know Margot Robbie's favorite Barbie when she was growing up? What's her favorite Barbie to play with?
No idea.
It's on her page. Superstar.
Totally hair Barbie.
What's that?
Totally hair Barbie.
Totally hair Barbie.
I was so
wasn't
excited.
Superstar?
Because she was asked when she was passing by, what's your favorite Barbie? What was your favorite? She said, my favorite Barbie was Mermaid. In her beautiful Australian accent. So the Australian girl loved the
Bye,
Barbie
girls.
Mermaids. Bye. Who was saying bye? Who's leaving?
Sharon.
Debbie and Lisa.
Oh, bye, Debbie and Lisa. See you at the meeting.
Bye, Barb.
Bye, Barbie girls.
Is anybody taking a doll to the movie?
Well, that's a good idea, Debbie.
I hadn't thought of it.
It's been all over Facebook.
That's a great idea.
Especially in Bolivia and in Mexico, the two national Barbie collectors are all taking their dolls. They're all dressing alike in pink.
Oh,
we're
I don't
talking
have her legs.
Hundreds and thousands in those Latin American countries that are doing that. And I'm like, they must be rich. Because the if you look at the cultural thing, a lot of people can't even afford to buy a Barbie.
Yeah.
Seamstress, they can sew. They can make
But
anything.
It's so wonderful that people are just having so much fun with Barbie, and she's just bringing so much joy to people, and not just us collectors. It's really just this Barbie love and this fun and pink happy. I don't know. I just think it's something really good that's going on all over the world now.
Yeah, that's great. Barbie for president.
Yeah, Barbie for president.
I never would have expected it.
Yeah, make the White House pink. Get rid of everybody who is not nice, you know.
That's everybody in Washington.
Like Willy Wonka, what did he do? Drop her down the chute? The bad egg down
Oh God, another Willy Wonka movie. Thank you very much.
No, the original. Only the original. I didn't see the second one.
Well, if I hadn't seen the trailers from the movie, I wouldn't go see it because it's a lot more, it's funnier. I thought it would be real schmaltzy and kind of silly and childish, or I don't know, just kind of stupid, but it's not. It's very funny. I mean, it's something I want to see now, you know. I haven't-
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig, you
Got
gotta
it,
figure
yeah.
she'd do something good with it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
It's interesting in the press, even CNN, how much they don't understand and did not research Barbie history when they report on, you know, like Margot Robbie is wearing this dress recreated from the Solo in the Spotlight Barbie doll released in 1960. You know, they don't even know that Barbie didn't come dressed in clothes, you know, in a bathing suit instead. They haven't really deemed it important enough to do their basic research in some cases.
she
And
came dressed. There were $5 ones that came in a full outfit.
Well, and the
Right.
pink.
Yeah, but Solo in
But
the
not
Spotlight wasn't
originally,
one of
not
those.
originally.
Well, that's an obscure. Those are obscure.
Mhm.
But the thing is if the movie
I don't
really,
know, I bought one when I was
yeah,
a kid.
they'll you know, they'll get it at some point because the movie's probably going to be really popular. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
based on what you have all said now, it's a worldwide phenomenon.
it is.
It's a whole new
Absolutely.
Barbie renaissance.
And it's a happy thing. It's a
Yeah.
happy
Isn't
thing. for
tomorrow
once.
night the Barbie competition
need-
for that house that they're doing?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
HGTV or whatever.
yeah, the Barbie
Right,
Dream
yes,
House.
Yeah.
Barbie Dream House is coming up. I just thought of
Yeah,
that.
they're not giving that one away. They're giving away a stay at it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
and
do that.
really the craftsmanship looks terrible.
Well, you can go to
I didn't
Santa
like seeing a
Monica
big
or
brush on the wall.
LA.
Well, it's
Yeah, there's
only
the one.
on
There's also the one.
plastic.
There's also the one in Malibu that there's somebody's
Yes, the one in
doing 2
Malibu.
nights in the Ken room.
Yes. You can go to Las Vegas has one now, and Lake Tahoe has one now.
When is that
But-
show on? Tomorrow night, Sharon?
Tomorrow night at 8,
8.
HGTV.
What is it, Barbie Dream House Makeover or something? They're
Yeah, it's a couple, I think it's like
building
4
one.
weeks long.
It's a
Yeah, it's gonna
competition.
be
Whoever
multiple nights,
builds
I think.
the
Yeah.
best one, yeah.
No, they have multiple designers doing different themed rooms in the house.
Yes. Mhm.
And they'll probably feature one designer's room per show.
Oh,
Okay.
That's
got it.
HGTV's MO. I'm
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately addicted to that network.